community and across the nation. Visit communitiesandschools.org.
I hear people say we can't save every kid, but I think that we can.
Now is the time to cheer on your Indiana Pacers live inside Bankers Life Fieldhouse.
Taken by Brogdon. He leaves it for the trailing Sabonis right down the middle with a two-hand slam.
Single-game Pacer tickets are now on sale, and a safe fan experience is our top priority.
Turner in on the right side, converts off the glass.
It's an Eastern Conference showdown with the Philadelphia 76ers this Sunday at 7 p.m. Get tickets at Pacers.com. Pacers 76ers, Sunday at 7.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. It's a new year, time for a new mortgage. Mortgage interest rates are in the twos, and we are saving our clients hundreds, even thousands of dollars a month with an easy refinance. Whatever your goals are for the new year, let's get it started. How much can you save? Find out now. The 5-minute loan approval, only available at thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
When was the last time you practiced your home fire escape plan? Be sure everyone in your family knows what to do if there's a fire. Get out, stay out. It's your fire safe response.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WFNI, WIBC, HD2, W298BB, WIBC, HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
The Pacers wrap up their trip to Charlotte as they face the Hornets this evening at 6:30 on 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
What in the hell do you think you're doing?
Hey, John Boy.
I'm telling you straight, it's my way or the highway. So anybody wants to walk, do it now.
Hey, everybody, we're all gonna get laid.
And again, it's picked up. It's Darius Leonard. A pick six for the Maniac. Touchdown, I-N-D-Y. Yes, sir.
Sabonis down the lane with authority.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
Happy weekend, everybody out there. Appreciate y'all tuning in to The Ride of the JMV. I'm Kevin Bowen, filling in today for John. Mike Wells at 4 o'clock. The legend Don Fisher at 5, your usual Friday guest right there. And I'm excited to talk to Marcus Brady, Colts' new offensive coordinator. He will join us here right around 3:15, maybe a little bit later than that. Just got called into a meeting I got word of. What do you think, Kyle? They breaking down film? I don't know. Maybe Matthew Stafford film, maybe Justin Fields film. Who knows? So, yeah, we'll talk to the new OC of the Indianapolis Colts. And I know a lot of people want me to ask him about Jacob Eason, which I certainly will. And John was tweeting at me earlier today. Got to ask him about Quentin Nelson playing left tackle. But I think you'll enjoy Marcus Brady. He's got a really even-keeled temperament, but extremely knowledgeable, and he'll be expansive with his answers, so looking forward to that. As always, K Bowen 1070 on Twitter, probably the easiest place to find me. We up on YouTube again, Kyle? Yep. The Lounge up on YouTube. What's up, James? See Larry in there as well. Toby, appreciate you all tuning in. And phone lines will be open for the other segments besides that. We've seen the Deshaun Watson type press conference. I don't even think you call it the David Culley introduction press conference. That was all about Deshaun Watson down there in Houston earlier today. Nick Caserio, their GM, saying zero interest in trading Watson. David Culley, their new head coach, who I actually was pretty impressed by. He seems like a personable individual. He said the reason that he took the job, the reason he's here, is because of Deshaun Watson. So we'll see how all of that plays out in Houston. I know people are freaking out about Matthew Stafford. Even money now, 49ers. Do you see that, Kyle? 49ers, even money favorite to be the team that Matthew Stafford plays for in week 1 next year. So we'll hit on all that. I did want to talk who I feel like the Colts' most important free agent is this offseason. I don't think we've given this enough attention. I know John's talked about it a little bit, but I do want to touch on that. A little bit more on kind of the Phillip Rivers, quote-unquote, retirement. And Yeah, I know when I come on with John every Wednesday, he asked me a few weeks back, do I think that Philip retired on his own, or do you think he was pushed out the door? And I would say that I've gotten pretty mixed responses on that. I've certainly heard from both sides of that. So we'll hit on that because I do think, if the Colts pushed him out the door, boy, you better have a plan in place, right? Now, I think it's a great thing, honestly, if they told him that they needed to find something different and with more potential, because I just frankly think that this team had a ceiling with Phillip Rivers under center. Nothing against what Rivers did this season. He was tremendous, really, in many areas for this football team, but I don't think with him at quarterback you were going to achieve what you want to achieve in terms of making deep January runs and obviously get into the Super Bowl there. I know some people are just ripping Nick Sirianni to shreds. Have you seen that on social media? He was nervous today, wasn't he? He was a nervous individual in that Philly press conference. I've been talking to my colleagues, and we'll ask Wells about this at 4 o'clock when he joins us. Boy, I hope Nick does well, but that's a different environment, man. That is a different environment from just, you're happily living in your Bridgewater community in Westfield. You don't call the plays. There's no accountability whatsoever in terms of these platforms and what's written in the paper and whatnot. Just even the tone of the Philly media asking him questions. It was not happy to be here. It was let's get down to business. So hope Nick does well, but that is a totally different animal that he's walking into there. Pacers Hornets tonight at 7. Little double dip action from Wednesday. Doug McDermott just outstanding. I just love the fact that he gives you 28 off the bench and he only hits 1 3. I know John and Chris Teneri, shout out to Chris Teneri, happy 60th birthday to CD. Him and Don Fisher, I don't feel like either of those two guys age. Neither of them age. But there's that clip that Chris and John were talking about yesterday of I think it was a Holiday that hit the corner 3 off it in that first quarter. And it's funny when you go back and watch that clip and it's, a paint touch to Domas and then it's swung around the horn. You see one of the assistants for the Pacers start clapping like 2 passes away from Holiday hitting that 3. And I'm just like, that has got to be the exact teach tape sort of clip that basketball staffs all over the NBA, college, high school, wherever have to love. The ball movement. 2 or 3 guys passed up decent looks there. Miles, I think, did. Even Malcolm at the top of the key. And boom, you got a wide open look for Justin Holiday in the corner. And Nate Bjorkgren said yesterday they actually showed the team that clip at halftime. Bjorkgren loves that iPad. He's always going to that every single time out. I think that's his whiteboard. And I really didn't even realize that was something that, extensively that you do, but clearly that was a clip that they wanted to show the team at halftime. So terrific ball movement, terrific effort by the Pacers, I thought, on Wednesday. I know Charlotte made that run at them in the second quarter, but took care of business, and we'll see if they can get the sweep tonight before a big one. Really a big one on Sunday, and a couple big ones coming up. They got the Bucks next week. They've got the Jazz next week. And then they've got the 76ers Sunday night, and that's the game Miles Turner's got to have circled. He's been so good this season. And obviously his, off-ball defense, his ability to protect the rim is right up there with anybody in the league, if not the best in the league. But rightfully or wrongly, when you're in this market, if you want to garner that major national attention, be the best defensive player in the NBA, be a potential all-star, be first-team All-NBA defense, you can't let Joel Embiid be your daddy. And I know that might sound a little bit harsh, but Joel Embiid has definitely been that throughout his career. So I get it. Embiid's arguably the MVP right now of the NBA through however many games we've played, but he gets 40 and 20 against the Pacers. He can't be getting 40 and 20 on Sunday. So tonight will be fun to watch just because we haven't had a lot of basketball this week with IU and Purdue not playing, but Sunday is really the game that I've got circled. Again, K-Bow and 1070 on Twitter. Marcus Brady will join us here in about 10 or so minutes. New offensive coordinator of the Colts. And Mike Wells at 4 o'clock, Don Fisher at 5. I know John hit a good amount on Jim Irsay in that presser the past couple days. The more that I've gone back and listened to what Jim had to say, the obvious theme that you hear multiple times, or I would guess most frequently is probably the right way to say it, is the veteran vision at quarterback. We feel like we're a Super Bowl contender, this and that, and feel like it's win now. And so we need to make sure that we don't necessarily take a step back from that and try to, benefit off of the win now. But if you also listen to what he said over that hour, he makes it very clear as well that his biggest goal as owner of that franchise is to win multiple Super Bowls in a decade. And I know people laugh at that and be like, Jim, you just got to win one before you win a second. And obviously he's already won one, but I guess I mean in this new era. And he throws in there a couple times that the ideal way to do it or the easiest way to do it is to find that long-term answer through the draft. And I sit here right now, and the whole Matthew Stafford thing makes so much sense on many levels. But the reason why I have been team draft over Stafford, which, again, Stafford to me is like 1A. I mean, it's team draft for me, number one, make some big-time move to trade up, and then Stafford will be right there as well. And then it's a steep drop that really anything else that would get me excited if I were a Colts fan. But the reason why I am such team draft is because of kind of what Irsay is saying there. Do I think Stafford could get this team to the Super Bowl? I mean, I think you got a better chance than you did with Rivers. But, and this is where I probably disagree a little bit with what Irsay was saying on Wednesday. He kept on talking about Super Bowl contender and this and that. I'm thinking to myself, when are those season ticket packages going out? Because, Jim, you're also rattling off 5 needs. And he threw in wideout and tight end, which, I don't think is a need that maybe everyone has on their mind. Wideout, certainly. But, tight end, I don't think a lot of people threw that out there. Speaking of that, I saw Zach Hicks, who does a great job covering the Colts for Stampede Blue, mentioned Zach Ertz as kind of a potential cap casualty name that the Colts could jump in on. Obviously, the Frank Reich connection there is pretty obvious. And Philly's in a terrible cap situation. So that's a name to keep in mind. Hunter Henry is the other big tight end on the open market this year. But, I just, to get back to what Irsay was saying, it's not easy to find, but to achieve that decade-long run where you're getting 7, 8 cracks at the playoffs, 4, 5 potential wins of the division, and whatever, 2 or 3 really deep Final Four Super Bowl type runs, that's not happening with Matthew Stafford at quarterback. Can you win for a handful of years with Stafford? Without a doubt, I think you can. But if you want to get greedy and you want to be to where Kansas City looks at themselves right now, maybe Buffalo looks at themselves right now, potentially Baltimore, that's where I think a lot of chips have got to look into that draft. When you're at 21, it's not easy at all, but I was on with Dan last hour, and I said it to him, and I'll say it again. You've got to be great, to be elite. You got to do something bold at quarterback. You have to. And you look at these Final Four teams in the AFC. All of them, or I guess Final Four teams in the AFC or NFC, all 4 of them did something bold. The Packers draft Aaron Rodgers when they have Brett Favre. What was that message that they sent to Favre? Tampa Bay takes a risk on a 43-year-old quarterback on a 2-year deal. $50 million, that's a lot of money that you're throwing out there to a guy that struggled last year in New England. That's a bold move. And then obviously you look here in the AFC in Buffalo and Kansas City. Buffalo traded up twice to get Josh Allen. Buffalo originally had the I think it was the 21st overall pick as well back in 2018. They traded their left tackle, Cordy Glenn, to get up to number 12, and then they traded up again, I think the night of the draft, once the board started to fall, and took Josh Allen at number 7. And then obviously we know about what Kansas City did throughout the Patrick Mahomes trade of moving up, 20-some spots to get that. So, again, I just – a buddy of mine texted me today, quarterback purgatory is too stressful. I just want out. It's ain't quarterback purgatory. This is quarterback hell. When you don't have the answer, it's hell because these are the conversations. If not Matthew Stafford, who? What would it take to move up from 21? Could you find a partner? Are you willing to mortgage so much of your important resources moving forward to make a substantial trade? There are no easy answers, but this is just the reality of where we're at. And I mean, we're going to talk good amount quarterbacks, but I don't want to be all quarterback for 3 hours. You know, I will talk a little Jacob Eason as well, but as I mentioned, I wanted to hit on who I think the most important free agent is for the Colts here in 2021 as well. And certainly take some of your questions and your calls. So we'll have Mike Wells at 4 o'clock, Don Fisher at 5, and we come back here on the Ride of JMV. Kevin Bowen filling in for John. He'll be back on Monday. We'll have Marcus Brady, Colts offensive coordinator, the new promotion for him, joining us here when we come back, 93.5-107.5, The Fan.
The new year is here. Let's get it kicked off right with a cash-out refinance. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Hey, it's Big Joe for BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks, and we invite you to discover a brand new way to bet parlays. Introducing one-game parlays. It's an exciting new feature designed to help you make selections within a single game from over 400 bet types, including team and player props. Log into your BetMGM account and raise the stakes for a chance to win big. Making your same-game win total and prop bets is easy with one-game parlay. Also love the parlay generator, where you can keep spinning the possibilities until you find the perfect parlay for you. If you're new to BetMGM, then sign up today and make every play of every game matter more than ever. You can make one-game parlay bets on pro football, soccer, and NBA games, with more sports coming soon. So go ahead and take your favorite player to score, the home team to cover, and the over in yards for the star running back. Log in today or download the BetMGM app to try the one-game parlay and turn your game day into a payday. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Have to be 21 or older to wager. If you know somebody who has a gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Have you ever wondered why eyeglasses cost so much? Glasses have been around 700 years. Isn't technology supposed to get less expensive over time? Well, there's a simple explanation. For decades, the eyewear industry has been dominated by a single company that's kept prices artificially high while reaping huge profits.
Yikes.
Warby Parker was created to change that. They design and produce their own eyewear and then sell it directly to you for a fraction of the price. Warby Parker's high-quality glasses start at just $95, including your prescription. And if you need an updated prescription, they've got a few easy ways to help you get one. Just go to warbyparker.com to try 5 pairs of frames for free. They'll ship them to you to try out for 5 days. If you find a style you like, they'll send you a fresh pair with your prescription. Easy. Go to warbyparker.com to pick your 5 frames to try on at home for free. That's warbyparker.com to get started for free. warbyparker.com.
With a free offer from Jiffy Lube and Pennzoil, here's owner Steve Center.
As we approach another Indiana winter, your neighborhood Jiffy Lube shops are offering free winter safety checks. No appointment and no purchase is necessary. Just stop into any Jiffy Lube and we will check your tires, brakes, battery, wiper blades, fluid levels, and answer any questions you may have about dashboard lights or any strange noises your car may be making. It's all part of Jiffy Lube's focus on becoming your trusted source for preventive maintenance. Cars and trucks are made so well these days that all you need to do is take care of them and they will last a long time. 200,000 miles is the new 100,000 miles. So stop into Jiffy Lube today. No appointment and no purchase necessary. And let our trained technicians do a free winter safety check to give you the confidence to make it through another Indiana winter.
Jiffy Lube, Indiana's favorite oil change since 1985, proudly features Pennzoil. It's not just oil, it's Pennzoil.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo. What is Zipline? It's Golden Oak's fast and easy online mortgage tool that leaves you with more time to plan a family movie night.
I get to pick the movie.
And clean up the popcorn you weren't planning on sharing. At Golden Oak Lending, we speak mortgage and love translating it. Right now, rates are at a record low 1.875%. Visit goldenOakLending.com to use Zipline. NMLS 114937. 1.875% fixed. 2.913% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Join the Crew Car Wash Unlimited Club and wash whenever you want. Sign up at any of their locations to get unlimited washes and unlimited savings.
Sports with Dan Dakich.
High Point was going to go play Dayton, and we had our plane tickets ready, and I get a phone call, hey, some of the guys need to go to class, so we can't fly. I was like, well, what? Can I fly? And they're like, no, we canceled the tickets. We're going to bus. And I was like, we are going to what? And so we got on a bus from High Point, North Carolina to Dayton, Ohio.
Dan Dakich, weekdays noon to 3 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
1, is this or is this not the XFL? Yes, it is. 2, do I or do I not currently have a pulse? Yes, I do. Let's play football.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Welcome back. All right, at JMV, Kevin Bowen filling in today for John. We'll have Marcus Brady, new offense coordinator for the Colts, joining us any moment here. Denny was chiming in. He wanted me to my thoughts on I guess it's out there. The 49ers have made an offer, and I say offer in quotes because the guy who reported it, Vincent Frank, I've never even heard of him, to be honest with you, Kyle. But I guess they've offered the Lions for Matthew Stafford, not a first-round pick, according to him. 2 seconds and 2/3. Now, honestly, I bet there's some GMs out there, Chris Ballard might be one of them, that would rather have 2 seconds and 2/3 than number 12 overall. No?
Yeah, Chris Ballard might be one of them, but I'd rather have number 12 overall.
Yeah, I mean, certainly some people I think would rather have, and especially if you're the Lions and you're looking at, okay, we might need to move up and get higher to draft Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, whoever you want. But there would be others, I would say, this is such a giant rebuild. I'll take the quantity, round 2, round 3 picks. But certainly that's interesting. And again, I kind of put in quotes because we haven't heard it reported really from anyone of substance. I do think that this could be the Lions, honestly, leaking it a little bit, just so all of a sudden the suitors that might be pursuing Matthew Stafford get a little bit antsy and start saying, oh, wow, there's already offers on the table. Let's make sure that we don't miss out on this. And I guess that was kind of always my biggest question with the Colts and the Stafford situation is I never felt like Detroit would, A, be against trading him to the NFC. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, who cares? It's not like you're trading to the Bears. Okay, you trade him to the 49ers. Whoop-de-doo. He has success there. As long as you get the best return value you can back on that trade, that's all that matters. I don't think that your organization or your fan base is going to have a bunch of venom towards you because, oh my gosh, you traded Matthew Stafford in the NFC. Like, okay, you're going to see him once every couple of years. As long as you get the best possible return for that player. That's all that matters. In your own division, okay, I can kind of see a little worry there. But as long as he's out of your division, and you aren't going to see him definitely twice a year for the next handful of seasons, I've got no issue where you send him. And I also just think that my question from a Colts standpoint was, would you be willing to get into a bidding war? We've never seen Chris Ballard really entertain bidding wars. More so on the open market, less on the trade market. Now, the counter to that would be, isn't quarterback different? And I do think it is different. It goes back to what I said earlier. I mean, to be truly great and to take a chance at that position, you have to be bold. You have to do outside-of-the-box thinking. You have to probably go against some of your kind of core philosophies of how you want to build. And that's obviously something that they have to internally talk about. And if Watson's off the board, now all of a sudden, does that make, based off what Houston said today, again, take it for what it's worth, but Nick Cassera, their GM, saying we have zero interest in trading Deshaun. Does that mean more teams would now throw their hat into the Matthew Stafford mix? So I just think those are all kind of honest conversations that have to be had. And if Stafford goes to San Francisco, obviously that puts Jimmy Garoppolo, you would think, on the market, and what would be his trade value. It's not pretty if it's not Stafford, and you still want to achieve that veteran aspect. And that goes back to my point about Jim Irsay's comments about saying, okay, multiple Super Bowls within a decade and all that, because I'm not as big as this, like, the Colts are in a win now window, and that window's closing in 2 years. No, I could not disagree with that more. I think the Colts have a window for 5 to 7 years. Now, they have some definite answers that have to be figured out at very important spots. Obviously, I will not doubt that. But think to the guys ages 22 to 28 on this roster. You could name a dozen guys that this team is building with. Taylor, Hines, Pittman, Kelly, Nelson, Braden Smith, maybe Paris Campbell. Did I say Pittman? Pittman for sure. Defensively, Buckner, Leonard, Bobby Okereke, Kenny Moore, the two safeties. I mean, that's at least 10 guys, 12 guys right there that, again, none of them are even age 28, 29. Now, are you going to start to get into some more complicated cap situations? Yes, certainly. But I don't look at this window as you've got a bunch of 31, 32-year-olds, and boy, you've got to get it done, and you've got 2 years, and that's it. I think you've got a legit 5 to 7 years, and that's why I'm also a fan of, if it's not Stafford, who I think could play for a handful of years, I think you got to go draft. Because if you get that young quarterback by the back half of that rookie deal, it's already an advantage with that rookie QB playing on a very affordable contract. If you get that guy ascending like the 4 finalists we saw in the AFC this year, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, if you get him to play at that level, and again, in a Frank Reich system, you got to have trust. You got to have belief that if you identify the right guy in the draft and you do everything you can to go get that guy, then I think there's a real opportunity here to potentially achieve what Irsay wants. And that's lofty. That's extremely lofty. But think about it. If you plugged in, and let's just say, let's throw out Patrick Mahomes because he's just generational, and let's throw out Baker Mayfield because, I don't know if we're totally sold on that. Let's just take Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, the two guys in the middle of that. And you get that type of player. And again, I'm saying type of like production value, not necessarily skill set. You plug in, what do we say? Jackson's a top 10 quarterback in the league. Allen and Jackson are both top 10 QBs. So you plug in a top 10 quarterback on this football team in 2 years, and now you're going deep into the 2020s with that. And Pittman's still 25, and Jonathan Taylor's 25, and those offensive linemen are kind of in their mid to late 20s. Now all of a sudden, you got some real potential there. And defensively, what? Buckner would be 28? I mean, we see interior defensive linemen playing to their primes. Aaron Donald's still doing it. What's he? Is he 30? He can't be much older than that. And obviously, you'd have Leonard, Bobby Okereke still on rookie deals, Julian Blackmon, Kari Willis. Like, I think people are so scared about the draft because it's such an unknown. So scared about it, which, fair or not, like, that's fine. I think John has mentioned this a little bit. I've heard now for well over 6 or 7 months that the Colts have had pretty legit interest, and knowing full well that getting this person would be difficult, but love what they see in Justin Fields. And I can just picture it now, Kyle, honestly. If somehow the Colts were able to go up and get Justin Fields, Chris Ballard explaining what Fields went through during that semifinal game against Clemson and just being like, that sold us. I mean, that to me just strikes Ballard as that toughness, that leadership, make those throws on that stage. And again, I had heard long before that there was some interest in Fields, but going up to get him, that's a whole different story. Where are you at on Zach Wilson? Where are you at on Trey Lance? I don't think the Colts fully know that right now. There's interest in Lance, certainly. But that's why guys like Marcus Brady, who you're sitting down with, and he's going to join us here shortly, and Frank Reich and all those guys internally, they have to make those decisions. So, boy, it is it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun to see how all this plays out. It's scary, but at the same time, I think Jim said this well on Wednesday. There's real opportunity here. Real opportunity here. Let's head to line one. If Caleb's on, let's talk a little bit about Chris Ballard. Caleb, what do you got?
Hey, Kevin, how you doing?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Good. I hadn't really thought about it until I heard, I think it was you and John talking about it maybe on Twitter. If, Chris Ballard, let's just say, yes, he went to Phillip Rivers and said, hey, we're going another direction this offseason. I can't see him making the mistake of not having a plan in place. So if that, do you think there's a chance that he has a plan already made and he's just kind of keeping it under wraps, or what do you think's going on there?
Yeah, Caleb, I think it's a great question. And like I was saying earlier, I appreciate the call. I have heard, I would say, from a little bit more in the Rivers camp, that the Colts, gave him a little bit of a nudge and said, we're going to go in a different direction. And so if that's the case, clearly the Colts have to have a plan. And there are some dots you could connect to potentially Ed Dodds interviewing in Detroit. Detroit's ownership group tells Ed Dodds, hey, we're going in a different direction with Matthew Stafford. We are gonna trade him, whoever is gonna be the new GM here and whatnot. Then Ed Dodds has that little morsel of an intel, takes that back to the Colts, and who knows? Now, people from the Colts have told me that's not true, so take that for what it's worth. But I just feel like if not Stafford, what is that plan? Like, what to me achieves you're built in 2021 to win a Super Bowl in the short term? That's where I'm confused about it, Caleb. That's where I don't have a great answer. I mean, it can't be Darnold. I saw Bob Kravitz wrote about Darnold. I mean, seriously? Darnold? Like, I don't know. No one gets me, and this is going to sound very weird, no one's going to get me to feel the way that Stafford in this team would get me to feel. Mainly in the short term.
I've seen a bunch of things on Twitter. Actually, came out that I guess the Niners have offered 2 seconds and 2/3.
Yeah.
Now, part of me thinks that that's just smoke trying to get the Colts to offer more. But, I've also heard that, the Niners are kind of close to a deal for Stafford. So I'm kind of scared because after Stafford, there's a huge drop-off in my opinion.
Yeah, right now it's even money, 49ers in Vegas, Colts at plus 350 to get Matthew Stafford. And thank you for the call, Caleb. I appreciate that. It's there are not a lot of great answers, again, if it's not Stafford to me, or at least obvious answers, I should say. Like, does Nick Foles or Andy Dalton get you thinking all of a sudden this team's going to do something in January? I don't know. But certainly, you have to have a plan in place if you're going to make that decision. And the plan isn't as crystal clear as it would have been this time last year with Rivers. Like, Rivers is a free agent. You have the exact familiarity that you wanted to in Frank Reich. You knew full well that the Chargers weren't going to bring him back. There's not that obvious candidate out there. So if the Colts did tell Phillip that, they have to have something in place. But like I said, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. We don't know what exactly that plan is. And is it, hey, we're going to mortgage a little bit of the future and we're going to make an aggressive move up into the top 10, top 5? Who knows? Because teams have done that. We've talked about that before. Whether it's, and it didn't work out necessarily for these franchises, but, we saw the Eagles and the Rams move up substantially to get Wentz and get Goff. We saw the Texans and the Chiefs and the Bills do that to get their quarterbacks as well. So is that something to where maybe that's a fallback option of, okay, you got Buckner in place last year. You feel like the defense is on pretty good ground. Now is the time to go get that quarterback, while still realizing that you have some other options. Or I should say some other needs. So San Francisco doesn't have a third rounder this year. Boy, I just can't. I can't see that because, future picks, you got to go around higher to make up for it. That's kind of how the old trade value chart works in the NFL. So, it's very interesting. Phone lines are lighting up, so we'll make sure to cover these. And again, Marcus Brady, Colts offensive coordinator, should be joining us here very, very shortly. K-Bowen 1070 on Twitter if you want to join the conversation there. Mike Wells at 4 o'clock. Don Fisher at 5 o'clock. Who's been hanging around the longest, Kyle? Is that Mike? I think it's Mike online too. Mike, you want to talk a little Justin Fields?
Well, yeah, but I just thought about this. By the way, I believe the Jets moved up to draft Sam Darnold with one of our favorite teams too. So it doesn't always work out. Maybe,
no,
right?
No, trust me. There are a lot of teams you could, and like I said, the Rams and the Eagles. I mean, they moved up from I think a lot further back than what the Jets did, going from 6 to 3. But I guess what I'm getting at more, Mike, is it's just you have to be aggressive. You have to take that risk. If you're going to be complacent and sit there, I just think you're going to have to rely on Band-Aids, for lack of a better term, until you find that guy.
I'll talk Justin Fields just here. Say one thing just dawned on me: were Fields and Eason ever on the same roster at Georgia? And I'm assuming Fromm's on somebody's bench, but I mean, were all three of them there at once at any given time?
Yeah, I think so. I might have Kyle look that up, but I mean, Fromm and Eason definitely were, and then I think Fields. I believe Fields is the same recruiting class as Trevor Lawrence. And Lawrence played, 3 years at Clemson? So that would have been 2018, 19, 20. I don't know. Maybe Fields was a year after.
Well, and Lawrence came in for Kelly Bryant, who started the year, but wasn't, So
Fields came in when, Kyle?
Yeah, Fromm won the job as a sophomore. Fields transferred out, or Eason transferred out, and Fields came in the next year as a freshman. So they were not all three there at the same time.
So on Fields, and I don't know what you think about this, but I want to see the list of Ohio State quarterbacks. Well, I don't know whether they played for Meyer or Herman or Day that have exactly been a success in the NFL. I mean, I'm going to tell you, Joey Burrow is their best quarterback from Ohio State playing in the NFL right now. I don't know what we've seen. Is Fields that much different? Because they've had a litany of guys come through there, and Haskins being the most recent. But I don't know. I'm just not convinced.
Yeah, no, certainly. I mean, you can throw in Haskins, and thank you, Mike, for the call. You can throw in Haskins. You can throw in J.T. Barrett as well. Yeah, I mean, Ohio State quarterbacks under Urban, or even Florida quarterbacks under Urban, haven't had a lot of great success. I just think there's something a little bit different about Fields. And maybe it is too much focus on that semifinal game and what he went through and what he played through in that game and had that performance on that stage. But I am intrigued by him. The whole Eason thing, and I do want to talk a little bit of Eason, and I'm filling in for John on Tuesday again. I'm actually hoping to have Jacob Eason join us on Tuesday's show, so hopefully we'll have that for you. I know we got Nyheim Hines already in the deck for Tuesday as I fill in for John. But the thing about Eason that we have to remember too is this. He started as that true freshman in 2017 at Georgia. And since then, in 4 years of football, the dude could have played in, I think it's 55 games if you look at those 4 years. Of those 55 games he could have played in, he's only played in 16. And that just goes to show you, and this is something that I'll ask Marcus Brady when we have him on, there's just a lack of game reps for Eason that makes it such an unknown of, yes, he did so much, for his own good from a professionalism standpoint and meetings and absorbing things from Phillip and, Frank and Nick and all those people in quarterback meetings. But until you take off that red jersey, you never truly know. And that's why I was, when I looked at Eason at Washington, I went back and watched probably 6 or 7 of his games. To me, it was, if he came back to school and you put 13 more games on him, and he lived through that fire and experienced that, he easily could have been a first-round pick. But there's still 13 games of just kind of unknown of, okay, that's the breaking point in his college career of, is he going to ascend and lead Washington to a Rose Bowl appearance and, you know, have these fourth quarter comebacks in big-time games, big-time atmospheres, or is he just going to be kind of a five-star prospect that never lived up to that hype? And that's what he was originally at Georgia before he got hurt and transferred back to Washington. All right, we're gonna hit a break here. Marcus Brady still in a meeting. He will be joining us shortly. Again, Mike Wells at 4:00, and we'll have Don Fisher at 5. So we see you on the phone line, Steve, Adam, Mike, Gabe. Hopefully we'll get to you and some tweets as well. Kevin Bowen filling in today for John, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Need plans for the big game coming up on Sunday, February 7th? Head to the fan contest page today to win a $250 gift card from Twin Peaks to be used on that night for you and 9 guests.
Hey, it's JMV. It's 2021, and we can all agree it's time for a change. Have 2021 be your year for worry-free water by upgrading to a revolutionary Connecticut water treatment system. Water affects every aspect of your life. You drink it, cook with it, shower in it, and now is the time to choose Connecticut would have the best water of your life. Connecticut has the most efficient water treatment systems on the market. They use zero electricity and use less salt than the competitors. Contact my friends at Connecticut today for that free in-home water treatment test. ConnecticutND.com now.
If you're an independent floor installer, aren't you tired of always chasing your next job and working without insurance or a retirement plan? Isn't it time for a change? Marburger Flooring has immediate openings for experienced commercial floor coverers in the Indy area. Apply today at carpenters.com. Stop worrying about job security. Start earning high wages, insurance, and a pension while working in schools, hotels, and more with Marburger. So if you're an experienced commercial floor installer ready to change your life, apply today at carpenters.com. That's carpenters.com.
Let's face it, football fans, 2020 was kind of like... Ouch. But Unibet Sportsbook is betting 2021 is going to be a bit more like... And it starts with the big game. Sign up for $20 free today, $21 on game day, and 2 $250 risk-free bets. Let's do 2021 better. Unibet Sportsbook. Crazy about the odds. Must be 21 or over to play and physically located in Indiana. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, it's John for Love Heating and Air. John and Chris Love with the best service this time of year, making sure you're warm and toasty in your home, and that no-cost second opinion at 317-353-2141. And if you mention my name, you'll get $125 off the most advanced air purification system that's out there. That's iWave. Right now, use my name. Love Heating and Air Conditioning, 317-353-2141, online, love-hvac.com.
If we learned anything in 2020, it's that life is unpredictable. There are some things that you just can't control. All the more reason why you need to appreciate and hold tight those special people in your life. That relationship you know you can count on no matter what. At Diamonds Direct, your love is our passion. Your relationship is why we exist, and we stand ready to help you create those memorable moments in 2021 that celebrate and solidify those unbreakable bonds. Our selection of precious rare diamonds has never been greater. From a simple 1-carat princess cut to a breathtaking 10-carat round brilliant, we have your perfect diamond in stock every day at the guaranteed best value price in America. And even in unpredictable times, Diamonds Direct's commitment to you will never waver. We promise the largest selection, the highest quality, the best value, the strongest warranties, and the most unforgettable experience. So as life gets back to normal this new year, remember, cling to the ones you adore by showing them how much they mean to you. And we'll always be here to help. Diamonds Direct.
Keystone at the Crossing.
Hey, it's JMV for the best. Andy Moore, Buick GMC, 131st and State Road 37 in Fishers. And my friend Eric Wilson and the gang are dealing right now. How about 0%, 72 months on all half-ton crew cab trucks? Brand new Acadia SLE, 0 down payment, only $249 per month, and up to $10,000 off brand new 2020 Buick Envisions. See dealer for all the details. That's Andy Moore Buick GMC, 131st and State Road 37 in Fishers.
Hey, it's Jeff. Coming up Monday morning at 7 a.m. on the Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe. KB will stop by. We'll have the latest on the quarterback carousel in the NFL.
The Ride with JMV.
Let me have a Diablo sandwich, a Dr. Pepper. Make it fast. I'm in a damn hurry.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Are we jumping? We're jumping. Kevin Bowen in for John today on this Friday afternoon. We got to figure out a Mike Wells re-entry song for next segment. We got to figure that out as well. Marcus Brady, Colts offensive coordinator, should be joining us here any minute. Still in a meeting over there on West 56. Voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor, chiming in here, texting me. Making good points today. Window will be open for 5 to 7 years, but Colts won't be top 3 in cap space every year for much longer. Yes, that is without a doubt, Mate, but that's where, again, the rookie quarterback contract, that can help you out a little bit of maybe you're not paying a whatever it would cost of Matthew Stafford, who is on a pretty reasonable contract. What is it, 20 and 23, I want to say it's the next 2 years. I mean, that's very reasonable, or whatever Garoppolo's some. And, like, even if you get a Darnold's due a second contract here pretty soon. So I think those are all just kind of things that you have to be honest with. Matt chimes in here on Twitter. Not saying Darnold's the right answer, but I can't stop thinking about how when Tannehill got away from Adam Gase, he blossomed. Could Darnold blossom getting away from Gase? No, Matt, that's a fair point. And obviously Tannehill was the 8th overall pick. I feel like people forget that. But still, there's just something about Darnold, man, where maybe it's the turnovers, but there's just something that rubs me the wrong way. And I'm probably biased. I remember going to his game at Notre Dame when he just looked terrible, and I was yelling at him that he should go to a L.A. community college, and I was just being a dumb idiot fan. But I don't know. USC guys kind of rub me the wrong way. Quarterbacks. Because let me make this very clear. Michael Pittman is not USC pretty boy. That is a dude that he plays a game of football. He plays a game of football like his dad did. I'm bullish on Pittman. I think Pittman's going to be really good. I think if he can break a little press coverage, I really think he can flourish. All right, let's go to line 1 here. Steve is joining us. What's up, Steve?
Hey, yeah. Thanks for taking my call, KB. I appreciate your insight every day.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay. Hey, I was wondering, and I love the Van Halen intro. Props to Eddie Van Halen. Rest in peace.
Yes, R.I.P. And R.I.P. to John Chaney as well. He passed earlier today at the age of 89.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that. I don't know what anybody's thinking, but nobody's really talking about Matt Ryan. Is he still available from the Falcons, or what's his situation?
So I think the issue there, Steve, is the cap hit. That is huge for Matt Ryan. Okay. It's much, much bigger than Stafford or, even Rivers, what Rivers was making last year. I want to say it's into the 30s, which is and he's a lot older.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably 35, 36, something like that. So,
yeah, I didn't know he was into him for that much money. I didn't know that was $30 million guy there.
See, honestly, I think this, Steve, what you've got to hope for is the Falcons keep Matt Ryan, and now all of a sudden the number 4 overall pick, which Atlanta has, is not going to a quarterback.
Right.
Like that's what you got to start hoping for is when you look at this draft board. Right now, I think the Colts have got to at least get to 6, which is Philly if they want to get, assuming Trevor Lawrence goes 1, Justin Fields goes 2, if they want to get Zach Wilson out of BYU or Trey Lance out of North Dakota State, to me, they've got to get all the way up to 6. And so I think that would be the thing with Steve.
Okay. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, Kevin.
With Matt Ryan. Have a great weekend, Steve. All right, Marcus Brady should be joining us here any minute. Again, Kevin Bowen filling in today for John. He'll be back on Monday. And, we'll have Mike Wells joining us in the 4 o'clock hour and Don Fisher at 5 o'clock as well. K-Bowen 1070, probably the easiest place to reach me. Again, Adam, Mike, Gabe, see you guys on the phone lines. Will be a little bit clogged there over the next couple segments. For those who don't know, Marcus Brady got a background in the CFL. He had a cup of coffee with the Green Bay Packers as well, set some big-time passing records at Cal State Northridge. And I don't know, maybe I'll ask Marcus this, but I don't know if there were any Frank Reich connections for him before he came on staff in 2018. I think it was his first NFL job as well, but quickly made a big-time impression. He was kind of assistant QB coach in that first year with Luck, and then promoted to full-time QB coach, and now is the offense coordinator. And Frank could have gone a couple different directions there. He had Mike Groh, who's currently the wideouts coach as a guy that could have been the OC there, and he could have got called up. And then Jason Michael is the tight ends coach who now is in Philly. He's got some offensive coordinator background as well. So it sounds like the Colts might be adjusting Marcus' schedule a little bit. They're asking me about 5:15, Kyle. I guess we got Don around then. Yeah. We'll make it work. Life in the chair. Well, at least we don't have to push back Wells. He'd be whining like none other if we had to do that. So let me fire this text off to Christian Edwards for the Colts PR department. And, we'll play the clock game a little bit more here. But, yeah, those are some questions that I want to ask Brady. He was big with Jacob Eason this year and kind of doing some pregame stuff with him. And really some just kind of off-practice stuff, like outside of the normal practice schedule because, Jacob Eason, outside of taking – I want to say when Rivers got that toe injury, Eason took scout team reps 5 or 6 times late November into December. And that was it, really, his real practice reps. And again, those are scout team reps. Those aren't, you're running the Colts offense type reps. So I know Marcus did a lot of stuff off to the side with him, and we'll get his thoughts on that. All right, let's head back to the phone lines then. I think Adam's been hanging around a little bit. What's up, Adam?
Hey, Kevin. How you doing?
Good, man.
2-part question here. So if you think the Colts will end up trying to pick a quarterback maybe at number 7 or 8, because they probably won't get 1 or 2 on that position, do you think it would cost more to get up to 7 or 8 or to get Stafford as far as draft capital?
Ooh, that's a good one there, Adam. Man, that's a really good one. I would think, let me try and look that up.
Because don't you just want to go for the value there? If it's huge in favor of it's going to be more expensive to get Stafford, then you try to go for that rookie contract.
Yeah, it's a great question. The problem that you run into a little bit there is you would have to make that move right now, wouldn't you? You would have to trade up to 7 right now. And then all of a sudden, what happens if teams start trading above you again? And now you think the third quarterback's going to be there, but what happens if Atlanta says no to Matt Ryan? And now they're taking a quarterback at 4. And then a team like New Orleans or a team like San Francisco, they come screaming up and they're above you. So it's – I get what you're saying in the value, but I also think that you're weighing a 32-year-old quarterback with 2 years left on his deal versus potentially your next QB for a decade. Like, it's just – I get what you're saying, but who you're getting in return, it's not like you're either getting Matt Stafford or you're getting Matt Ryan. Like, these are two very different quarterback decisions you would be making, and whether it's Stafford. I would guess that it would cost more to go from 21 to 7 than it would to get Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, I'm just thinking as far as what would Ballard want. He's always huge about that draft capital, so that's just what I'm thinking, trying to get in his head, which I don't know if I want to be there right now.
I know, man. I know. It's not easy at all. At all. Thank you, Adam, for the call.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend. My guy, Charlie Clifford, the last notable QB who was banished to a California community college. He sends me a picture of old Aaron Rodgers. Are we comparing Sam Darnold to Aaron Rodgers? Phil wants to ask about Marcus Mariota. I mean, just what? I get it, Phil, but like, to me, it's this. If the Band-Aid move is not getting you to make a deep January type run, you go all in on the future. That's what it boils down to me. Look at Tampa Bay right now. They made the Band-Aid move, and they're playing a week from Sunday. If you're going to go that route, you better be damn confident that you can make that run. And if you can't, I'm not trying to waste years here. I'm not trying to kick the can down the road a little bit further. Bobby wants to ask about Jalen Hurts. I don't know, Bobby. It sounds like the Phillies at least going to keep those two for now. God, I feel bad for Nick Sirianni. He's just getting roasted. I mean, I'm skeptical about how he's going to do, but, I mean, the guy was just nervous in a press conference. Come on. But, hey, that accountability is going to be totally different there. Let's go to Gabe. Gabe, what do you got?
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. I was just wondering, I'd heard people joking about a left-handed quarterback to take care of the tackle position, too. Why not go after Tua, like a multi-team trade or something like that? Go after him hard.
I actually wouldn't mind Tua. I'm probably a little bit more in the Tua camp than most, and I know a lot of people are scared about what he just showed. I mean, did you see the skill talent around Tua for the Dolphins last year?
Yeah, he's so fresh, though. Give him a chance.
Yeah, and I mean, they were throwing to Kyle and I last year there. I would look into it, but the problem I think there is it seems like Miami is going to want some sort of definite quarterback situation in return. I think that was the appeal of Watson maybe going to Miami is, you're giving away your quote-unquote franchise right now in Tua, but you're also getting a new franchise in Watson and certainly upgrading from that. And honestly, Gabe, and I totally hear the thought about it wouldn't worry the whole tackle situation. In today's NFL, lefty-righty, I think you need two pretty good tackles. Like T.J. Watt lines up opposite the right tackle all day long.
Yeah.
He doesn't go over the left side. Even when the Colts didn't have Costanza on the lineup against Houston earlier this year, J.J. Watt still lined up opposite that right tackle. So, yes, it's not quote-unquote your blind side, but left tackle, right tackle, you still need a couple good ones.
Okay. All right.
Thanks, Gabe.
Yep.
I don't know. Do people a little hesitant on Tua? I mean, obviously he didn't do what Herbert did, but that Miami, look at the Miami skill group. I just don't think they open up that offense at all. Now, granted, when Ryan Fitzpatrick came into the game, it was a totally different story. But I'm not throwing the towel on Tua just yet. Ben chimes in. Thank you for speaking the truth, K-Bo and 1070. You need a championship mentality with this decision, not a Band-Aid to just get him into the playoffs. This is an 8 to 10 year window. Let's act like it. Got to be bold, Ben. You and I are in the same boat. I don't know if I'll go full 8 to 10 years because a lot can happen in that time span, but I think it's a 5 to 7 year window. I think it's a very legit 5 to 7 year window. And you got to be bold. It's scary. It's risky. We're all scared. The unknown freaks people out. It freaks me out. Whatever. But to steal a phrase from old Bruce Arians, no risk it, no biscuit. I mean, look at Bruce. That drive gets over late in the first half. Brady's on the bench. Stocking cap's on. He's thinking he's done for the half. Boom. And Bruce Arians says, get back out there. Not only we're going to go for it on this fourth down, and we're going to get the fourth down, we're not just going to try and get into Ryan's suck-up field goal range. We're going to take a shot. I just think with roster building, with where you're at, when you find the guy, you've got to exhaust every resource to try and go get that guy. And if it's Justin Fields, then you got to flat out try and do it. And it might cost you whatever, your next 3 first-round picks. But can anyone rattle off for me what the Chiefs sent the Buffalo Bills to get Patrick Mahomes? I mean, no one. Like, in 2 or 3 years, as long as you've got the guy, no one gives two you-know-whats about what the trade package was. And with how Ballard's drafted in other rounds, I've got confidence in him to be able to continue to build while you do have the rookie quarterback on a favorable contract. And obviously, you're going to have to give some other deals to guys like Nelson, Braden Smith. Who else? Leonard, obviously. I think Hines deserves a contract extension, too. I don't know if it'll happen just with running backs in that nature. Obviously, they didn't give Marlon Mack one, but let's sneak 2 more in here before we get to the break, Kyle. I think Sean's been hanging on for a while. Sean, what do you got?
Yeah.
We're losing you, Sean. Later. Let's go to Chris. Chris, you want to talk the old W, Jameis?
Yeah, I understand Jameis Winston had some struggles, but he also put up very impressive numbers. Controlled environment with a run, a running back and a running system that you could take some of that out of him.
Yeah, but can you take enough out? I mean, the dude threw, 30-some interceptions?
Yeah, but what did Rivers throw his last year before he came to the Colts?
He threw about 20, and I think a little bit different skill talent. You see what Brady's doing with Tampa's skill?
I agree, but it's more of a controlled offense to where I think that they could throttle him down a little bit. I mean, I think the talent's off the charts if you could get his head in line.
Yeah, I hear you, Chris. I mean, I know the whole Winston, the whole Mariota thing. People will use the Ryan Tannehill comparison, former top 10 pick. You put him in a new environment, who knows? But no, those to me just don't. On the excitement meter, they maybe from a 1 it goes to a 3, but it doesn't get much higher than that.
I disagree on Mariota. Mariota's never showed any signs.
Well, I don't know.
Winston's.
Didn't he win a playoff game in Arrowhead?
Yeah, I've never been a Mariota. I think that Winston's head and shoulders above him.
Has Winston ever got to the playoffs? Thank you, Chris. We got to hit a break. Yeah, and I know that Mariota didn't show a lot in Tennessee, but hey, he did win a road playoff game for what it's worth. All right, Mike Wells joined us. He'll complain that we're late. Who cares? He'll join us when we come back here on The Fan.
Sports with Dan Takich.
Kevin Pritchard. First things first, Karis LeVert, a mass around the kidney. Is there any timetable here?
You won't really know until you get.
Jason Hammer here for Indy's hometown sportsbook, Bet Rivers, BetRivers.com. Here's why I prefer Bet Rivers over any other sports betting site. You get your money faster. It's your money. You want it. You shouldn't have to wait 48 hours. And their profit boosts make sure that you get the biggest bang for your buck. That's what you're looking for as a sports bettor. So go to Bet Rivers right now and get those bets in for the NFL championship games this weekend. Must be 21 and over, a resident of Indiana, and if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
JMV here for LD Smith Plumbing. Have you already called out a plumber only to be unimpressed with their knowledge and skill? Or maybe shocked about pricing? Then call my guy Lance at LD Smith Plumbing for a free second opinion. I promise I've used them. They are awesome. LD Smith Plumbing is a local company that can tackle any issue, big or small, for you. Online, ldsmithplumbing.com or 317-284-9526. 317-284-9526. Must provide competitor invoice for free second opinion. Details at ldsmithplumbing.com.
It isn't a game.
It's not a game.
Not a game.
Not a game.
It's real.
It's real.
Es real.
It's real, and it's here.
Right here.
It's impacting Hoosiers right here, right now.
Right now. Right now.
You've probably seen it.
Maybe you didn't even know.
But you can't just ignore it.
You can't ignore it.
You can't ignore it.
It's human trafficking. It's happening right here in Indiana, and we can't ignore it. Do more. Go to candfreein.com.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WFNI, WIBC, HD2, W298BB, WIBC, HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Soccer Saturday featuring Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
There's a kid in my class that got a boner at PE in high school. He was wearing sweatpants. It was really embarrassing, so this song goes out to him.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
Got the mayor of Brownsburg joining us.
Mike Wells on 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Bet Rivers Sportsbook.
Sing it, Wells.
Sweeter than you. I would never know. Precious than you. More precious than you.
Come on now.
Like my mother, close to me, you're like my sister. You were the Hey, this ain't as fun without JV because you ain't singing with me, Kev. I know you were in diapers when this song came out, but still.
Oh, man. Who we got there, Wells?
My boys Casey and JoJo all my life, man. Well, hey, this song? This came out in 1997. How old were you then?
I was 8. I was watching Tiger win the Masters for the first time.
Hey, you were begging your dad for a pair of Nike clubs after then too, weren't you?
Did you think of that I had that in me to pull out a little slow jam for you today?
No. Listen, hey, let's be real. We know you text JMV and said, hey.
No, I did not.
I'm not. What? Look
Trust
at
me,
you, man.
So, back in college, I had, playlists and whatnot. And so I haven't opened up the iTunes in quite a while. I really don't listen to much music, as I'm sure that doesn't shock you. So all of a sudden I decided to pull that up today and started scrolling through the log, and I'm like, ooh, All My Life? This is what we got to go with here.
Oh, man. Hey, how did you get JMV to break our Friday tradition, and you ended up hosting today?
I know. He's such a loyal Friday guy. He loves talking with you and Coach Lovell and Don Fisher. So yeah, I was shocked. I think he's helping out Mom a little bit today, and I think his wife's out, so he's at home with the kids.
And the other thing he's doing is he's preparing some game notes for the rematch between his daughter's 5th grade team and my daughter's 5th grade team tomorrow up in Finch Creek. They gave us work, man. They beat us so bad. It's like you know what? I'm not even going to insult your golf game. I was going to say it was like you beating me, but you would destroy me on the golf course. They didn't destroy us, but they beat us pretty good.
Wait, so you guys are playing again? I feel like it just happened.
Well, yeah, because it was 2 weeks ago, and it was actually a last-minute switch. The thing about the Grand Park League is with the COVID stuff, teams, unfortunately go in and out due to COVID situation. So tomorrow's the regular scheduled game. 2 weeks ago was like a last-minute fill-in.
Got it. And you're not coaching, right? Because I remember that you said that you were coaching your son at one point.
Yeah. No, I'm not coaching, so I'm Mr. Dad in the stands. But it is a Wells Media basketball weekend. Girls with JMV, and then my son's team, which I'm the assistant coach on. We play Dave First's son's team in Carmel, and he's an assistant coach on the Carmel team. So him and I are going to be sitting on the bench as assistant coaches, enjoying it. He's a big timer though, because his son has a pair of like $250 Air Jordans that he wears during the game.
Yeah, he's got his Carmel Pups jacket that he's wearing to the game and everything. He's got his Letterman jacket on, his gelled spiked hair. Trust me, as a kid that grew up in Carmel, I know full well what that is.
Listen, hey, well, I know you Carmel schools weren't even good for you, man. You had to go to private school route and go to Cathedral. So you moved on up from the Penn. You went from regular Bel Air Carmel to the penthouse in Carmel.
Come on now.
That's how you were living out there.
Hey, Brownsburg's the Carmel of the West right now, especially with you running the school board out there. Mike Wells, ESPN.com, joining us here. All right, Wells, what do you think of what the owner had to say a few days ago about, I guess, where they're at quarterback-wise?
Time out, KB. Normally on Tuesdays we kind of go with the flow of things, but on Fridays we go off script, man. We got to start with Mr. IU, man. I'm sorry. I know Irsay talked the other day, but I'm still tripping over how Oladipo is trying to blame other people. I'm just completely baffled on saying how is he going to say people quit on him?
Yeah, Go ahead, Wells.
Man, it's embarrassing, KB. I mean, he is what Victor Oladipo has done over the past 4 or 5 months is make Paul George look like a king on how he decided to leave the Pacers organization. I mean, Oladipo from the bubble situation, drop a little nuggets to Shams, and now I'm going to say people quit on him. Oh hell no! If I was Kevin Pritchard, I'd come out and give a statement right now. Yes, Victor's gone, but that is a flat-out lie and good riddance, Oladipo.
I wish you were running the Pacers PR department and suggesting that. I don't think David Benner and Chrissy and Wes are going to be doing that. Wells, I've gotten to the point now with Victor, and there's a reason I haven't brought him up yet in the show. I'm just done listening to him. Like, it's always this. Everyone is against me. I did nothing wrong. Everyone thinks I'm terrible. You were the number 2 overall pick. Like, let's not act like you were some chopped liver, undrafted free agent who is now making it into the NBA. And we all have these people in our lives that, and I know, trust me, I know you have these people that they just talk and you just tune them out. That's where I am with Victor.
Yes.
Like, I watched the clip and that was it. I'm not going to give any more credence to what he has to say about people quitting on him and this and that, because the Pacers bent over backwards to try to make things work here when he was healthy, certainly when he was hurt, and even when he came back. And if he can't appreciate that, then I've got zero time for him.
Man, I'm upset I'm upset the Rockets have already played here. I know there's limited fans allowed in the field house, but man, I wish Houston would still come here off of that because
I hope he gets traded. I hope I think John's brought up that he get traded. I think JMV's brought up maybe Boston. I'd love to see Victor back in that building with some fans in there and see the reaction because, like you said, as crazy as it sounds, he has left, I think, a worse image than Paul did. And honestly, Paul got this franchise to far better heights playoff-wise than Victor ever sniffed.
Yeah, no, you're completely right. And I've said it from the start, and I'm going to continue to say it. I feel like I was like, okay, Victor's going to be – he's that guy. He's going to be that guy. He's going to be what Paul George wasn't. He's going to be a healthy Danny Granger, stay committed here. He's going to be what Jermaine O'Neal was before he started getting injured. He's going to be that guy to lead this franchise, and all he ended up turning out being was a gigantic fraud. Victor Oladipo was a gigantic fraud with the Indiana Pacers. That's what he was. He's totally alienated himself from, people he was close with at IU as well, which is just sad to see. And people have gotten into his ear, and ultimately they're the ones making so many of these decisions, which is just sad to see. Mike Wells, ESPN.com, the mayor of Brownsburg, joining us here on the Ride of JMV. All right, swinging it back to Irsay. Anything stand out to you, particularly surprising, I guess, quarterback or non-quarterback division from what he had to say? A couple things. I will say the quarterback for last, but it sounds like they want T.Y. back, but they're not going to sit here and say they're not going to give T.Y. Hilton probably the type of money that T.Y. wants.
Right.
It sounds like, the way Irsay was talking about, you got to basically, have a dollar amount in there and everything. If T.Y. thinks he's going to be worth more, the odds of him returning probably aren't there. The quarterback situation, man, you talk about dropping crumbs. My man was dropping chicken wings on the ground for me to say, hey, we want a veteran quarterback. That's what we need, because the thing about Irsay is, while he and Chris Ballard have been on the same page, Ballard is more patient in wanting to, as far as doing things the right way and not cutting corners to try to win a Super Bowl. Irsay's impatient. Irsay has been screaming multiple Lombardis for, as long as I've been covering this team, which started in 2013. And all they've gotten is 2 playoff appearances since 2014. So he wants to be able to plug in a veteran who still has multiple years left at playing at a high level and grow with these core players they have, meaning Darius and Jonathan Taylor and Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly, and try to make a run at it. Because I know that people can say it's not about one player. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, who looked like he could play till he's 55 years old. You got to have a quarterback to lead you. You got to have a quarterback that can make those plays that get you over the hump.
See, that's where I'm a bit torn on it, Wells, because, Irsay talks about winning now and Super Bowl contenders, and then he rattles off 5 or 6 needs of the most important positions on the team, but whatever. And then he also throws in those caveats of, my ultimate goal as owner is to win 2 Super Bowls in a decade. And to me, it's like, okay, the win now, that would be a Matthew Stafford. But if you can't get him, I don't see anybody on that open market or trade market, realistic, that is going to get this team to be the last one standing in the AFC next season. And if you can't find that type of guy, then I think you go all in on the draft.
Yeah, which means you probably got to trade up, right?
Oh, for sure.
You got to trade up.
Right.
Yeah, you have to trade up. And what would your reaction be, Kevin Bowen, if they don't get Stafford? And I have no interest in Cam Newton or Jameis Winston from a media coverage standpoint. And they say, you know what? Let's give Jacoby Brissett another shot. What would your reaction be?
Wells, I'd rather be your caddy on the golf course all summer long. Like, literally, I would rather every time you play golf, which is about 150 rounds, I would rather, walk barefoot, at the fort, all these nice courses that you play, and hell, I might double bag. Like, why? Why do we need to see it for a third time?
No, I'm in agreement. I think if Jacoby Brissett, and Jacoby handled his demotion very well, but there's no way they can run it back with Jacoby Brissett. In fact, as we were talking about quarterbacks with Jim Irsay, and mind you, for folks who didn't know about the press conference, that was probably 75% of the Zoom call outside of Irsay's 8-minute intro into the Zoom call was about quarterbacks. Not one time did the first name Jacoby or the last name Brissett come up in that Zoom call, which lasted nearly 50 minutes.
No. Unbelievable things he's done in the Florida community and this community, but I've seen enough of him as a starting quarterback here at the Colts. Go to New England. I don't know. Maybe I was too harsh, but I just feel like that if the Band-Aid move, if a short-term fix like we're seeing with Tampa Bay isn't going to put you over the hump, then I just think you go all in on the draft. And I know it's not as easy as what I'm saying it is about finding that guy and trading up for that guy and all those things, but you just said it, Wells. I mean, look at the Chiefs, look at the Bills. They found both those guys via trading up in the draft.
Yep. So it's going to be interesting.
Whoa. I gotta stick on your golf references, okay? Better chance your guy, Dustin Johnson, wins a major this year, or Quentin Nelson is your starter at left tackle week 1?
Ooh, better chance, man. Well,
he's defending at Augusta here coming up. Torrey Pines for the U.S. Open, where they're playing this week. That's where the U.S. Open is. PGA, I believe, is at Kiowa, which is definitely a ball striker's golf course as well. So what do you think? Better chance DJ and Paulina are kissing on the 18th green of a major, or Big Q, as Jim Irsay references so often, is your starter week 1?
I'm saying both. I'm going to say both will happen.
Ooh.
I'm going to say both because think about I for some odd reason, I'm not a big fan of paying attention to offensive linemen in free agency. I'm not gonna sit here and lie about it, but I looked at the free agents on the offensive line left tackle market.
God,
sounds
like you're bored.
Agents, you're right about that. Everybody is over the age of 30 as far as key left tackle free agents, with the exception of Cam Robinson in Jacksonville. Everybody else is over the age of 30. There's nobody in-house outside of Quentin Nelson who played left tackle. We saw the disaster that happened when Chaz Green played left tackle. We saw what happened when Raven Clark played left tackle. Those guys can't play left tackle. Starters in the NFL. So what I will see Ballard sitting there saying, all right, let's overspend on the guy on the market. So I'm going to say Quentin Nelson and Dustin Johnson DJ is going to be kissing Miss Gretzky on the 18th hole after winning, and Q Nelson is going to be an all-pro left tackle when it's all said and done.
Boy, DJ and Paulina, that's an interesting duo, but we'll save that for at a training camp practice conversation.
All you got to do, and what Kevin Bowen means, is just follow her on Instagram. That'll explain everything.
Yeah, and make sure that you're alone in the room when you're doing that. All right. Wells, I think we've seen it now. 5 coaches, assistants, position coaches gone from last season. I'm not overly concerned about it. Like a lot of them, it's promotions. Nick Ciriani takes a new job. This stuff kind of happens. What's your level of concern, maybe 1 to 10, about I think 4 coaches on offense and Jonathan Gannon, the DB coach, leaving?
I'm like you, man. I'm just like you, man. I don't read too much into it. I think if you want to put in order the biggest blow, I think Tom Rathman retiring is probably the biggest one. Beyond that, I'm not putting too much stock into it. By the way,
over Sirianni,
yes, yeah. I like Nick as a person and stuff, but I know we weren't in the rooms, but I think Frank Reich's voice probably carried a little more in there.
Yeah.
By the way, I let everybody know. I sent Kiefer and Bowen a text today saying, "Hey, I'm not a big proponent of watching press conferences of other teams, and I had no interest in paying attention to Nick Sirianni's Zoom call today, his intro press conference." But Twitter was blowing up, so I'm like, "What the hell is everybody tweeting about this?"
He's getting ripped,
so
Wells.
I clicked on it. In fact, I was almost late picking up my kids from school because I was watching it. I was like, "Oh my God, Nick!" Hey, it's like our boy Kiefer standing on the first tee box at Augusta when he got to play Augusta 2 years ago, man. He was tinkling down his leg the entire time.
I was saying earlier, Wells, this is a little different than living up in Bridgewater and joining us for Tuesday Zooms in your basement when the biggest thing is when your dog comes downstairs. I mean, that Philly media and that Eagle fan base, they aren't holding back.
Yeah, they went all in on him on that one. I was like, Nick, bro. I mean, listen, we used to tease Nick on a download about him always saying, "Good question, good question." My man couldn't even get a good question out. He was a nervous wreck.
Oh gosh, I see Kiefer's texting us now. I can only imagine what he's chiming in with there.
Hey, that's probably because I'm sure Ryan Bowen was the one to. I just read his text because I'm sure Ryan Bowen sent him a text that Wells is killing you on the radio. I wish I could say what he just texted me, but I'm going to leave it alone because we want to stay on the air.
Wells, before I let you go and hate to end on a somber note, I didn't know Seiku Smith that well, but I know you did, and certainly your paths crossed, and I read him and saw the byline, on such a frequent basis when he covered the Pacers here, but I know that was just awful news to hear earlier this week.
Man, it was. Man, I was in the loop on what was going on with him for the past couple of weeks with his health and dealing with COVID. But it sucks. And people always ask me, "How did you end up in Indianapolis?" And Seiku and I are tied to the hip. I met him when I was in Minnesota covering the Timberwolves, and he was here at the Indy Star covering the Pacers. But when he left Indy in December of 2004 to go cover the Atlanta Hawks at the AJC newspaper, I took his job. So had Seiku not left, I wouldn't be in Indianapolis right now. Him and I, were very, very close, nearly 20 years of friendship. One thing that he always did was check in and ask how the kids and the family were doing and stuff. And we barely talked NBA. It was about life in general. And his goal was to actually, when I started teaching at IU last year, he wanted to get into it too because he enjoyed working with students. I actually shot a video today to send to his wife for his memorial that he did, and that's what I talked about. That he helped me get here, and I'm gonna carry on his legacy and trying to help out with students and everything. So it's been a tough 3 or 4 months and stuff for losing people I care about. So I do appreciate the kind words and everything, KB.
Definitely, man. Yeah, it's been we were hoping that we'd be done with all this when 2021 is here, but hopefully there's some light at the end of the tunnel soon. Wells, have a great weekend, man. I always enjoy it, and good luck to the kids on the basketball floor this weekend.
All right, KB, y'all be good, man. You'll be there one of these days cheering on your daughter on the basketball court, man.
I know. I'm kind of nervous if I'm going to be that
crazy. Hey, my
crazy
bad.
parent.
Never mind. When you guys are a member at Chatham Hills, she's going to be in the junior golf program. Have a great weekend. Talk to you later. Bye.
God, Mike Wells, ESPN.com. I wish. Jeez, Chatham Hills, that'd be a dream. I'm just, sectionals at South Grove. I'm just trying to place. I don't know. Is South Grove closed? I feel like it might be closed. It's Mike Wells joining us, ESPN.com. We had to push Marcus Brady back. He got called into another meeting, and so Marcus will join us a little bit later in the 5 o'clock hour, right after Don Fisher as well. Oh boy, I definitely can't read that Zach Kiefer text. Oh, that's great. Yeah, the whole I know John's real big on moving Nelson to left tackle. I always think back to, and I think Joe Wrights might have said this when he was on with John back a few weeks ago. The quote was about how offensive linemen, and Joe, I think, heard this from an offensive line coach during his tenure in the NFL. Offensive linemen are made, but left tackles are born. That's like really a quote that like resonated with me big time. CE. Have a great weekend. That quote really just kind of stood out to me of like, yes, Quentin Nelson is his generational talent, but still, I mean, left tackles are just a different breed in that offensive line room. And I know a lot of people say move Braden Smith over there. Like, Braden Smith's never played on the left side of the line in his life. We talk about muscle memory and sets and all that stuff. Like, that's a totally different animal.
Well, then people also say Braden Smith was viewed as a guard when they drafted him, and he was able to become a tackle and a good tackle.
But yes, it's just, I guess I'm more so talking about moving Braden Smith to left tackle.
But that's how people will say move Quentin Nelson from left guard to left tackle.
Yeah,
if you
because
could
it
move.
worked out for because if it worked out for Braden. But I just think there was a lot of layers to it. I know we were talking to Jeff Saturday a few weeks back, and he mentioned how, from a run game standpoint, so much of what Frank Reich schemes up is because of Nelson as a puller at guard. Can you pull at tackle? Yes, but do you do it as frequently as you would at guard? No. So I just think those are some honest conversations. But as well said, there's never a great young, free agency group at left tackle there. But, can you find a stopgap for a couple of years? I think that's something that you got to look into. All right, we come back here on the Ride of JMV. Kevin Bowen filling in for John today. Again, KBowen1070 on Twitter. Phone lines will be open the next couple segments. I do want to hit on who I think is the most important free agent for the Colts here in 2021. We haven't hit on that just yet. You're listening to the Ride of JMV here, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Big Joe for AAA. AAA Hoosier Motor Club, the place where you can get peace of mind when you're out there driving on the road. Or more importantly, like me and my family, when I'm busy at work and I know my wife is running my kids here and there, it's great to know that she is taken care of. Should she have any kind of a problem out there on the road, flat tires, running out of gas, a dead battery, even if her keys get locked in the car, I know that somebody is going to be on their way to help her immediately. And that's become even more important when she's out of town quite a bit, helping to care for her mom and dad. And the great thing about AAA is they work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to make sure their members are covered. And you know what's amazing? 97% of all travel is being done by car now, so a AAA membership is an absolute no-brainer. It's easy to become a member. All you have to do is go to AAA.com, that's AAA.com, or call 844-GO-AAA-GO. And when you do, don't forget to ask for a quote for AAA auto, home, and life insurance, because you don't have to be stuck on the side of the road to get assistance from AAA. That's AAA.com or 844-GO-AAA-GO.
Hey, it's Rob Belushi from Bill Estes Ford in Brownsburg. New year means new goals, right, Brian?
Yeah, lose weight, get jacked, and learn to dance the tango.
Not your goals, Brian. Our customers have goals, and one of them is to save money. This month, let's help them save on a new truck or SUV.
Get $12,000 off any 2020 F-150 XLT and $8,000 off any EcoSport, Edge, or Escape.
Our goal is to save our customers more. We have never offered $8,000 off SUVs before. We have 123 EcoSports, Edges, and Escapes in stock, $8,000 off any of them.
I love saving money and dancing.
It's not about you, Brian. We also have 200 pre-owned vehicles to choose from, with 40 of those priced under $13,900.
My New Year's goal is to make every customer happy.
That's progress, Brian. Put others first. Your imaginary dance partner will love that.
Ooh, want to take that tango class with me?
Sorry, Brian. I don't dance with people I work with. This year, let us help you reach your savings goal with $12,000 off any 2020 F-150 XLT and $8,000 off EcoSports, Edges, and Escapes. Your key is waiting at Bill Estes Ford in Brownsburg.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo. What is Zipline? It's Golden Oak's fast and easy online mortgage tool that leaves you with more time to plan a family movie night.
I get to pick the movie.
And clean up the popcorn you weren't planning on sharing. At Golden Oak Lending, we speak mortgage and love translating it. Right now, rates are at a record low 1.875%. Visit goldenoaklending.com to use Zipline. NMLS 114937, 1.875% fixed, 2.913% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Hey, it's Big Joe for BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks, and we invite you to discover a brand new way to bet parlays. Introducing one-game parlays. It's an exciting new feature designed to help you make selections within a single game from over 400 bet types, including team and player props. Log into your BetMGM account and raise the stakes for a chance to win big. Making your same-game win, total, and prop bets is easy with one-game parlay. Also love the parlay generator, where you can keep spinning the possibilities until you find the perfect parlay for you. If you're new to BetMGM, then sign up today and make every play of every game matter more than ever. You can make one-game parlay bets on pro football, soccer, and NBA games, with more sports coming soon. So go ahead and take your favorite player to score, the home team to cover, and the over in yards for the star running back. Log in today or download the BetMGM app to try the one-game parlay and turn your game day into a payday. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Have to be 21 or older to wager. If you know somebody who has a gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Bob's Discount Furniture presents Bob Opera.
These days, a lot of us must work from home. It's quite a mess. You need a desk and things like cabinets for business stuff, a rolling chair with white faux hair. Bob's Discount Furniture is everything you need. No phony sales and gimmicks, low prices guaranteed.
His name is Bob and it's his way to bring you value every day. Visit Daniel C. Bob's discount equals quality.
It's not discount furniture, it's quality furniture at a discount.
Get Bob's discount.
Join the Crew Car Wash Unlimited Club and wash whenever you want. Sign up at any of their locations to get unlimited washes and unlimited savings.
It's a new year, time for a new mortgage. How much can you save? Find out now. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
It's the Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe.
ESPN Lions reporter Michael Rothstein.
Is Matthew Stafford prone to injury?
He is in many ways the equivalent of Philip Rivers. He will play through almost anything. He has played with a fractured back. He finished this past year with a thumb injury, a rib injury, and an ankle injury, and yet he gutted out week 17.
The Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe.
Weekday mornings at 7
on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Say, man, you got a joint? No, not on me, man. It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Happy Friday to everybody out there. Kevin Bowen filling in for John. We still got Don Fisher joining us at 5, and we'll have Marcus Brady, Colts offensive coordinator. Got pushed back, got called into a couple meetings because the Colts are signing. I don't have any news on the quarterback position, but Marcus Brady, Colts offensive coordinator, joining us hopefully around 5:30 or so. Pacers coverage tonight begins at 6:30 down in Charlotte. Is Fox Sports Indiana glitchy for anybody else, or is it just me? I know some people can't even watch the Pacers on. I guess is it even Fox Sports Indiana now, or what's it? Bellies, whatever. Who just bought them? Somebody's bought them. But yeah, it's a little glitchy for me. I got Uverse. I was curious if anybody else has that issue. Pacers going for the little sweep of the Hornets, and then a big one on Sunday. The 76ers. Next week they got a back-to-back. I think it's Grizzlies, I want to say, is a back-to-back, and then they got the Jazz next weekend as well, so schedule definitely toughening up for a Pacers team that I think has played pretty well, considering all the injuries and whatnot. I did want to hit on who I think the biggest free agent for the Colts is here in 2021, I should say. And I know John has mentioned this guy coming back. I'm not optimistic, honestly, about him coming back, but I do think he should be brought back, and that's Xavier Rhodes. I feel like Rhodes was brought back, or really he was signed here for 3 reasons. And some of them are on Rhodes' side of it. The others are on kind of the Colts side of it. 1, he was affordable. I think 2, he was hungry. He got cut by the Vikings, so he's obviously affordable. And then he's hungry because he wants to prove the team that drafted him in the first round back in 2013 wrong. And then lastly, and this is the most important part for Rhodes, he made it very clear a massive reason why he came here was because of Jonathan Gannon, the cornerbacks coach for the Colts, who now is the defensive coordinator for Nick Sirianni in Philly. Now, the Eagles don't have cap space, I think, to pursue a guy like Rhodes, but I just think we have to keep in mind those 3 things. You could argue none of them are here. The familiar face obviously isn't here in Gannon. He's not going to be anywhere near as affordable as he was last year. I mean, that was a 1-year, like $3 million deal? I mean, he's going to be looking at 2 or 3 years, and I would say double-digit million, or at least 7 or 8 million. And then lastly, I think you got to be honest about how hungry is he. It's one thing to be in kind of your first contract year, and again, you just got cut, and you're trying to resurrect things. You want to prove Minnesota wrong. Minnesota was on the schedule last year. You had all those NFC North teams on the schedule last year. And now it's, oh yeah, just got my 2 or 3 year deal. I'm good. Final paycheck. That would be the concern, I think, with Rhodes. And I just don't know how much the Colts value corner. They valued in the draft. I mean, they've drafted Quincy Wilson and Rock Eason pretty high. But I don't know how much they value it from a free agency standpoint. I mean, when you think about the Colts and they talk about their three big positions on defense, it's DeForest Buckner at the 3 technique, it's Darius Leonard at will linebacker, and then it's Kenny Moore in the slot. They don't really talk about outside corner as much as I think other teams talk about that. So I do think that's something to keep in mind with Xavier. But, man, just look, I mean, listen to those wideouts that you're facing next year. Stephon Diggs in the Bills, DK Metcalf in the Seahawks, DeAndre Hopkins in the Cardinals. You know, you got A.J. Brown in your own division. Got the Rams. I mean, that's Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. I mean, those are some pretty good wideouts that you're going to see on that schedule. And I know the Colts aren't a team that, you know, is having one corner travel around and this and that and, you know, an island, whatever, shadow role. But still, I feel like Rhodes gave you an outside corner presence you haven't had since Vontae Davis in his prime. You know, whatever that was, 2014 when you made the AFC title game. I think Rhodes will garner a pretty good market. You know, corner at his age, though, I think teams that feel like they're on the cusp will value him.
You think the Colts bring back Justin Houston or Danico Autry?
I would rather have Autry back than Houston. And I know people might disagree with that. I like Autry's versatility. I like the fact that he's a little younger as well. And, you know, Houston just played 16 games in back-to-back years, Kyle, after missing all that time in Kansas City. I feel like that could catch up to him. I mean, he just turned 32. And people will look at the sack numbers for Houston last year. He had, 8 or 9 sacks, something like that? That's fine. You look at the quarterback hit numbers, which to me is a little bit more indicative of how frequently you get to the quarterback. I think he wasn't in the top 60 players in the NFL in quarterback hits last year. And that's with, again, a generational defensive tackle in DeForest Buckner commanding so much pressure. That's why, to me, the edge rush group was easily the most disappointing aspect of this football team last year because you had such a huge physically and then figuratively presence in DeForest Buckner commanding so much attention, and yet your edge group, Ben Banogu, had as many pressures as I did. Kamoko Turi, dealing with the ankle and really didn't do anything till the final game of the year, and then made the dumbest penalty, one of the dumbest penalties you'll ever see in the playoff game. And Justin Houston, there were games where you'd look at the box score afterwards and he didn't make a single play.
So I've been looking at other teams who have defensive ends that they might cut to save cap space, and one of them, who's got 1 year left on his deal, is Von Miller. If the Broncos cut Von Miller, it's only a $4 million dead cap hit for them, and they'd save $18 million.
Man, that's a big savings. Yeah.
So Denver fans are thinking Von Miller might be cut, and he's 32 right now. I wonder if that would be someone the Colts could look at.
I would look at it, Kyle. There's a couple of names. Carl Lawson for the Bengals. Romeo Okwara, Notre Dame product, who plays for the Lions. Both are kind of in that mid-20 range. And I feel like they kind of have had some Danico Autry type of decent seasons. Can you cash in now on them a little bit more into their prime? And a little bit younger as well. That would be my worry. Von's battled some injuries, obviously. And so that would be a little bit concerning there. But, edge group, man. It's definitely on the list. I wouldn't rule out Houston, but I just think Autry, a little bit more versatility, can help you out there. Honestly, the biggest reason to bring back Houston is because, again, you've got no-shows pretty much out of Turay and Banogu. Ballard is drafted so well, but definitely not at edge rusher and definitely not at corner. And that's where you're at right now when you've had a Quincy Wilson miss. You've had a Terrell Basham miss. Rock Eason looks like a miss right now. Banogu looks like a miss. Turay, and I get it. The edge rushers, it can take them some time. But for every Jerry Hughes, there's a Bjorn Werner. So you got to juggle that and say, all right, does this guy need to change the scenery to resurrect it? Can we do it here? Or is this a bust? Let's hit up Joe on line 1. Joe, happy Friday, man.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
Along the lines that you were talking about with Banagoo and Rhodes and just the edge rushing, we still got guys that have potential. They just haven't had a lot of time to develop. And he really seems high on Rock Ya-Sin. He really seems to think that he's going to come around. And you still have Marvell Tell coming back next year that didn't play this year that should have a big upside as well.
Yeah, and Joe,
But I did want to talk about the left tackle position.
Yeah.
And the way you guys have been talking about it. Are you there?
Yeah. What do you got?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Joe, can you hear us?
No, honestly, I couldn't. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't talk over you.
No. What do you got about the left tackle spot?
Well, I think if you end up with Stafford, if that does come to fruition, you're not going to have a first-round draft pick. So you're going to have to get a left tackle that's a little long in the tooth. You probably pick up a 30-year-old or a 32-year-old guy that's got a year or two left that hopefully you can get enough production out of that next year when you have a first-round pick, you can go back and get somebody. Costanzo was a 21 pick. The gentleman that was there before him that was an all-pro, he was a number 21 or 22 pick as well. So we're picking in the right position to get a decent left tackle. I think you just got to give him enough time to develop, and we've got enough positions that you're probably going to have to fill that position with a guy that's a little bit older. I just think moving Quentin Nelson over to the left tackle position is taking a guy who plays at the top of his game, who's probably one of a premier guards in the league, and moving him to a position and getting a mediocre tackle just seems to be counterproductive.
No, Joe,
I'm curious about your thought.
You and I are definitely on the same page there, and I actually thought Joe made some good points about corner and DN. The problem is I just don't want to bank Kyle on those young guys. Like, I want to make sure I've got a little bit more. Yes, Marvell Tell showed me some things, but the dude didn't play football this past year. So I don't think you can put all your chips into saying, oh, yeah, Rock Ya-Sin will take a step. Marvell Tell will take a step. Ben Banagoo is going to take a step. Kamoko Turi's going to take a step. Like, that's just maybe. But I don't know if I want to bet on maybe. And I know you can't cross off every need. But I would like a little bit more insurance policy than banking on those guys. The whole stopgap at left tackle that Joe was referencing, I like that. And I would still draft a tackle probably in round 3 or 4. Let's say let's say you can get Stafford for 21 overall. You re-sign Rhodes. I know John's talked about his parlay. I'm a big fan of Allen Robinson as well. I'd go stopgap left tackle instead of what John wants to do with moving Nelson over there. That probably eats up all my cap space, doesn't it? Edge rusher round 2, wide out round 3, left tackle round 4. Thinking out loud here.
You probably want to draft a left tackle higher up.
Well, I got my stopgap.
If you have a stopgap,
and hopefully I can groom. Can I turn the 4th rounder? And if he can't become my left tackle in the future, I've got a nice swing tackle. Maybe he's a better version of Joe Haig. Because I still think you need tackle depth.
It just depends on what type of guy you can get as a stopgap.
Yeah, and I guess I'm a little early there on wideout. I could probably use. I don't know though. If you just went, I think you could manipulate the cap a little bit more than I'm saying that you can, because Stafford is not going to be that big of a cap hit.
I think it's only 23 million this
20,
year.
I think it's 21 year and 23 the other year. And one thing on Stafford, and I posted this in a story on 1075thefan.com earlier this week, but for those that missed it, when the Colts played the Lions earlier this year, and Frank Reich was just gushing over the throws Stafford made to win the game the week before. Unless you had Kenny Golladay or Stafford on your fantasy team, you probably don't remember this game, but it was Lions-Falcons. And Stafford makes a throw to Golladay with the Lions down. I think they were down 6, 20 seconds to go, no timeouts. They're on the Atlanta 40. So they've got to score a touchdown. And Stafford flings one to Golladay over the middle. Golladay didn't even know it was coming. Just smokes him right in the 1-8 and surprises him. I mean, there were Atlanta defenders. It was just a big-time throw. He gets up there, he spikes it, chaos ensues, people are offsides on the spike, the play gets looked at because Golladay, it didn't even look like he thought he caught it, but he did catch it. And then they spike it with like 2 or 3 seconds to go. And Stafford, he's not, Lamar Jackson, but he certainly isn't Phillip Rivers either, scrambling. Stafford ran 4.8 at the combine. He can move enough. And Stafford, just a subtle movement on this game-winning touchdown. He moves to his left. All of a sudden, TJ Hawkinson, kind of scramble drill, throws it to Hawkinson for the game-winning touchdown. Boom. And again, Reich was just, did you see the plays he made last week? There's not many guys in the league that can do that. To have that arm talent, to make those plays in the clutch. I mean, look at how the Colts ended the game in Buffalo. I mean, what was that? You had the ball in the middle of the field with 20-some seconds to go, and you acted like, Rosie Bowe, my 7-month-old daughter, was your quarterback. You're throwing the ball to the sidelines, the ball's hitting equipment people, and then the Hail Mary, it barely gets to the goal line. Does Rivers do things? Did he do things last year that certainly Stafford, I don't think, can give you that aspect of it? Yes. But could Stafford give you something late game, something more vertically, a little bit more movement in the pocket to help you out in red zone and on third down where you really struggled last year? Yes. And that to me is very, very intriguing. I think I trust Frank Reich mentally enough, chess match-wise enough. But again, can Stafford give you a few more things that you didn't have last year physically? The arm, a little bit of the late game magic, and then some more movement outside of the pocket than old Phil. All right, Jimmy, I see you hanging on. We'll get to you when we come back here. Kevin Bowen filling in for John. Don Fisher, 5 o'clock. Marcus Brady, Colts OC, joining us after that.
Hubler Auto Group has 8 brands to choose from and thousands of vehicles in stock. Plus, all new vehicles come with a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty included. Visit drivehubler.com.
Kids, tell your parents about Form's Sprout of the Month contest where you could win $100 in a Sprout account. Details at 1075thefan.com.
Hey, it's JMV and the return of the most amazing offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing on anything and everything. It's happening right now through Valentine's Day at Diamonds Direct. You can pick out the most romantic gift and really go big this year, too, because you can spread those payments over 5 years with 0 interest. Like a $6,000 diamond tennis bracelet, just $100 a month. Or a $3,000 pair of diamond earrings, just $50 a month. Take any item, divide it by 60, and that's your super low price. Diamonds Direct does it again. They're teaming up with the world's top jewelry designers for an expanded selection of Valentine's surprises for any budget. Romantic gifts starting as low as $400. Hey, make this a memorable Valentine's Day at Diamonds Direct. 5 years, 0 interest. That's 5 years, 0 interest at Diamonds Direct. Online, diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, Keystone at the Crossing.
If you're like me, you sometimes let your hair get a little too scruffy. Well, break that bad habit and get to Lady Jane's in Greenwood on State Road 135, just north of Smith Valley Road. Treat yourself to a haircut, hot lather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our award-winning stylists for a great price. And if that's not enough, you can watch your favorite games on one of Lady Jane's flat-screen TVs. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Greenwood on State Road 135, just north of Smith Valley Road. It's wicked awesome.
Let's face it, football fans, 2020 was kind of like...
Ouch.
But Unibet Sportsbook is betting 2021 is going to be a bit more like... And it starts with the big game. Sign up for $20 free today, $21 on game day, and 2 $250 risk-free bets. Let's do 2021 better. Unibet Sportsbook. Crazy about the odds. Must be 21 or over to play and physically located in Indiana. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
A paddle dips in and out of emerald green waters. The sun shimmers through the mangroves in the early morning light. High above the Gulf, the wind flows through your hair as you look down upon the miles and miles of white sand beaches below as you glide through the sky in a parasail. Welcome to St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, where all things vibrant and vivid come together. Plan your next escape at embraceyoursenses.com.
Have you ever wondered why eyeglasses cost so much? Glasses have been around 700 years,
Isn't technology supposed to get less expensive over time? Well, there's a simple explanation. For decades, the eyewear industry has been dominated by a single company that's kept prices artificially high while reaping huge profits.
Yikes.
Warby Parker was created to change that. They design and produce their own eyewear and then sell it directly to you for a fraction of the price. Warby Parker's high-quality glasses start at just $95, including your prescription. And if you need an updated prescription, they've got a few easy ways to help you get one. Just go to warbyparker.com to try 5 pairs of frames for free. They'll ship them to you to try out for 5 days. If you find a style you like, they'll send you a fresh pair with your prescription. Easy. Go to warbyparker.com to pick your 5 frames to try on at home for free. That's warbyparker.com to get started for free. warbyparker.com.
The Pacers wrap up their trip to Charlotte as they face the Hornets this evening at 6:30 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Wow. I don't know what to say. I guess the only thing I can say is I'll promise to keep rocking and rolling, making better films.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Shout out to everybody in the lounge. Nice little Friday group. Happy hour starting early for those folks in there. John will be back on Monday. I'll be back in the chair on Tuesday. Hoping to have Jacob Eason join us. Should be a fun interview. You said Nyheim Hines, Kyle? Yep. Nyheim Hines on Tuesday. So nice little Colt flavor next week for us here. Let's get to Jimmy. I know he's been hanging on for a while here. Jimmy is on line 2. What's up, Jimmy?
Hey, what's up, Kevin? How you doing, my man?
Doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. Hey, I always appreciate and love your work. So keep up the great job. I follow you all the time, and I listened to your podcast the other day with you and Chris. You guys did a great job.
Appreciate that, Jimmy. I miss seeing you when John's doing the remote broadcast.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully he'll be able to get back out there soon. But It's always a great time, and I appreciate you having me on. But 3 things real quick, I just wanted to get your take. I know Stafford is obviously the hot rumor right now, and I think that would be a great pickup for the Colts. And I think that would also rejuvenate his career. I mean, we all know Detroit, ever since Barry Sanders and even way before then, has been a dumpster fire. And I just think it would really help Stafford also. Can you imagine him with a running game for once? Like Jonathan Taylor, he would be so ecstatic with
Jimmy,
the running game.
How about this? Stafford has played, over a decade? He's only had one guy rush for more than 900 yards in his career.
Wow.
I mean, the Colts have had Jonathan Taylor and Marlon Mack do that. I mean, hell, I think Frank Gore did that here. Reggie Bush is the only one, and that's when they made the playoffs, rush for more than 900 yards.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you who that was. I was gonna guess Reggie Bush, but so I think that would be a great pickup for us and for him as well. And 2 more things real quick, Kevin. On the Pacers, I'm so with you on Victor Oladipo. As you probably know, I'm a season ticket holder, and it's just been so frustrating to see another guy, another star, turn his back on our city and just basically throw us under the bus. And that's all I got. Thanks, Kevin. Have a great weekend.
Always enjoy your calls, Jimmy. Keep on calling in. And yeah, the whole Victor thing, I'm not going to talk about it much today. I don't want to waste any more time on it because when he opens his mouth right now, it's just a bunch of useless you-know-what coming out of it. And, I mean, as soon as I saw that clip of him, starting to, fill up my timeline, I'm like, oh, God, what did he say? He just – I don't have time for it. This Pacers team is playing really good basketball. I'm loving watching them. Malcolm Brogdon and Domas are unquestionably all-stars. Miles Turner is having a tremendous, tremendous season. And guys like Doug McDermott and Justin Holiday and McConnell's doing his stuff. I mean – it's a fun team to watch. Really fun team to watch, and I'm looking forward to Sunday. You know, we haven't, first Sunday without football in quite some time, but boy, Pacers Sixers Sunday night. Sign me up for that. See you, Jay Cook. Yeah, that's a big one for Miles. I mean, Embiid he's 40-20, 30-20 against the Pacers team, and that's just the next step for Miles. Again, rightly or wrongly, if you want that legit NBA Defensive Player of the Year, just the national attention, it's kind of like the Kenny Moore pick against the Raiders. When you're in a market like this, you've got to shut down that opposing big man, or hold it. If you hold Embiid to 22 points on 30% shooting, that's going to be a whole different storyline. You might be leading the 6 o'clock Sports Center. Let's sneak Steve in before we get to Don Fisher 5 o'clock. Steve, what do you got?
Well, it's just a quick thing about Rivers. He's taking the blame for a lot of things, but at the end of the game against Buffalo, we've got a chance to tie the game, maybe win the game. Doyle drops a pass. Hines drops a pass. T.Y. drops a tough pass, and then Pascal catches it and fumbles. It's kind of hard for me to blame that on Rivers.
Well, Steve, thank you for the call. The Pascal fumble it ended up not being a fumble, and I don't remember. Did Doyle and T.Y. really? I remember the Hines drop. I don't remember the other drops that much. When you got to midfield, you didn't have a quarterback that was capable of getting the ball vertically enough. In no way, shape, or form am I blaming Phillip Rivers for that loss. There is many more things that happened in that game, and game management from your head coach was not a strength. That cost you. But when you got into that position, and it was a position this football team was not in very often last season, your quarterback held you back. You threw these weird passes to the sideline. You didn't use the middle of the field. You could easily use the middle of the field, come up, spike it, boom. So, again, I don't want this to turn into like I'm ripping Phillip Rivers and blaming him for the loss, but I'm just stating what's pretty obvious. A question we had about Rivers coming in last season was, could he lead a team down in the fourth quarter? The Colts weren't in really any of those situations this year, but when they were in the playoffs, we saw what happened. And I just think that's a different side of Stafford that could help this team in that area. So, again, I don't want this to come off of all of a sudden I'm thinking Rivers is terrible, blah, blah, blah. I'm just into the game when you're in that spot. And, again, Reich didn't help you out with the timeout situations. And yes, you had plenty of drops throughout that game. But when you got to midfield and the whole Pascal fumble happened, you had some chances, I thought, to still use the middle of the field, and you just didn't. All right, Don Fisher, 5 o'clock, and Marcus Brady, Colts OC at 5:30. You're listening to The Fan here, right at JMV. Kevin Bowen filling in, 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
Sports with Dan Takich.
Sean Salisbury, Matthew Stafford, what is he like now?
He can rip it. He's pretty accurate. He's a great football IQ, and has had no help for the most part in his career. They've already said he's not coming back. So if you're the Colts, I think you're actually going to get him less expensive than people think. If Matt Stafford goes to Indianapolis, you guys jump right back into being a favorite, if not the favorite, in the AFC South.
Dan Takich, weekdays noon to 3 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, it's JMV. As we welcome in a new year, there's no better time to simplify our lives and our finances. Forum Credit Union can help with their Forum One checking account. It's your one account for saving, spending, and sharing money. And with Forum's mobile app, contactless payments are secure and convenient. Plus, earn cash back with every debit card purchase or choose higher dividends on your account balance up to $25,000. Visit forumcu.com today to learn more about Forum's One account. That's forumcu.com today.
Place your sports bets at BetRivers.com. You'll find a massive number of basketball betting options. Bet point spreads, money lines, and game totals directly from your mobile device. Use one of our 12 easy deposit methods to get in on the action. And when you win, we pay fast. We pride ourselves on our quick and easy payouts. Sign up now. We'll match your first deposit up to $250. More bets, more action, more fun. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448.
With a free offer from Jiffy Lube and Pennzoil, here's owner Steve Sanner.
As we approach another Indiana winter, your neighborhood Jiffy Lube shops are offering free winter safety checks. No appointment and no purchases necessary. Just stop into any Jiffy Lube and we will check your tires, brakes, battery, wiper blades, fluid levels, and answer any questions you may have about dashboard lights or any strange noises your car may be making. It's all part of Jiffy Lube's focus on becoming your trusted source for preventive maintenance. Cars and trucks are made so well these days that all you need to do is take care of them and they will last a long time. 200,000 miles is the new 100,000 miles. So stop into Jiffy Lube today. No appointment and no purchase necessary. And let our trained technicians do a free winter safety check to give you the confidence to make it through another Indiana winter.
Jiffy Lube, Indiana's favorite oil change since 1985, proudly features Pennzoil. It's not just oil, it's Pennzoil.
Hey, it's JMV. It's 2021, and we can all agree it's time for a change. Have 2021 be your year for worry-free water by upgrading to a revolutionary Connecticut water treatment system. Water affects every aspect of your life. You drink it, cook with it, shower in it, and now is the time to choose Connecticut and have the best water of your life. Connecticut has the most efficient water treatment systems on the market. They use zero electricity and use less salt than the competitors. Contact my friends at Connecticut today for that free in-home water treatment test. ConnecticutND.com now.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
WFNI, WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Hey, it's Super Bowl week. Join me Monday. We're going to have Sean Salisbury break it all down. Don Fisher talking about the Hoosiers. Big Joe just talking. Join me Monday, noon to 3. It's Super Bowl week.
The Ride with JMV.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Happy Friday, everybody out there. Kevin Bowen filling in today for John. We'll have Marcus Brady, Colts offensive coordinator, hopefully joining us here at the bottom of the hour. And as you heard Dan say, he'll have this man on Monday. And John has him on every Friday. Always a terrific, terrific segment. It's a sweet swinging Don Fisher and also the sweet tones of Don Fisher joining us right here on the Ride with JMV. Good afternoon, Don.
Hey, Kevin, how are you?
Doing great. Yourself?
I'm doing well. How's your brother Ryan?
He is doing awesome. Thanks for asking.
Is he still hitting the golf ball a little bit?
He is. Not as good as his younger brother, though. But no, he's working for Titleist. I don't know if you knew that. So he's traveling quite a bit, and I think he'll start traveling here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think I knew that he was working for. I knew he was working in the golf profession again, but I didn't realize it was for Titleist.
Yeah, I know. I'll have to send you some Pro Vs because I know. Well, honestly, I feel like once you have them, you aren't losing them, are you?
Well, I wish that was the case. I tend to lose more golf balls than most, to be honest with you, especially for a single-digit handicapper.
Hey, a full week off. I mean, did you get on a plane and go play golf somewhere? I mean, this is rare for you in the month of January.
Well, I wish I'd have been known ahead of time because, as you know, the airlines, as soon as they figure out that somebody wants to fly someplace, they raise the rate. So I did not get out to play anyplace else. I wish I would have. If I'd have known we were going to have a 9-day layoff here, I probably would have tried to find a place. But honestly, it didn't work out that way. But that's just as good because I've had a chance to get to relax a little bit here at home and get a lot of work done.
I've heard people say, Don, that this is potentially a good thing for IU. You had some injuries with Galloway, and Armand Franklin looked a little bit limited to me in that Rutgers game as well. Do you believe that, or are you of the belief of, hey, this is a resume that needs a couple more quality wins?
Well, there's no question it needs some more wins. That's just a given. In this league, wins are hard to come by, as everybody knows. It's a very tough stretch here for Indiana as well. And, of course, to have a couple of extra days to get those guys well is really important. But the wins are the most important thing right now. This team has been going on a little roller coaster ride for the last 3 weeks or so. Win one, lose one, that way all the way through 6 ball games now. And that big win over Iowa was negated by the loss to Rutgers. Even though it was a good Rutgers team, you still lost to them at home. And these 3 losses at home now are coming back to bite you. Now you've got to win on the road on a pretty consistent basis to make up for them. So I think this Indiana basketball team is a good ball club. I really do. And the one thing that I will say that's a positive coming out of the last couple of ball games is they've started to shoot it better. And that's been a problem all year long, as you know. The consistency of their outside shooting has been something that has not been very good at times. And Right now it's starting to pick up a little bit, and that's a good thing, but the defense has just been up and down here of late. And my biggest problem with the last loss to Rutgers was I just did not see the intensity level at the outset of the ball game that I saw in the matchup against Iowa the previous Thursday. If I would have seen that same intensity level and Indiana would have lost, I would have said, well, they were just a better team tonight. I still don't believe that because I just don't think that they played with that intensity level, especially at the outset of the game. And I read it down the stretch, and in the final half of the contest, they realized we're in trouble here. We got to start playing hard. And I don't mean that they don't play hard. I just think that there's something mentally that you've got to have. It's a fierceness not to lose, and that fierceness has to start at the very beginning of the game. And I don't think Indiana really made the rules for the outset of this contest. I thought Rutgers did that, and that's why they won it. And I think Indiana's got to understand and learn that that's a critical factor if you're going to be a good and really outstanding basketball team.
To me, Don, I saw a team in Rutgers that's locked in from the onset, a team that hadn't won in the month of January, and I saw an IU team that had, probably read a bit of the press clippings after that Iowa game, and I know there's not a ton of students, back on campus by any means, but it almost seemed like all of that talk, and you beat the number 4 team on the road and such a great win, that to me got to them a bit, and when that ball was tipped at noon on Sunday, you saw a locked-in visiting team and a home team inside of Assembly Hall that was just a bit content or a bit complacent, if you will.
Yeah, I wish I could argue the point because I'd like to say that this is a really well-led basketball team, but I'm just not so sure that they didn't have some of that high-flying feeling after the Iowa ball game that just played into how they approached the Rutgers contest. And Rutgers had lost 5 in a row, so that plays into it too. They all know that. And you just can't – I don't know how many times we have to say this, and I'm sure that these players realize it too. I just don't know that they have it entrenched in their minds that every single game is going to be a dogfight. And you've got to come with the right mentality at the very outset of this contest. I mean, Bob Knight used to say, and I've said this a million times too over the last 30 or 40 or 50 years, whatever it's been I've been around, the first 5 minutes of every game are the most important, and the second most important 5 minutes are the start of the second half because you're setting the tone for the rest of the ball game. And honestly, I just don't think Indiana did that in this contest.
Boy, I could not agree with that more. Don Fisher, IU legend, the voice of the Hoosiers, joining us here. Kevin Bowen filling in today for John. Don, I don't know if we've heard like a final answer. Archie Miller's really given anything on this, but has Joey Brunk officially been ruled out for the rest of the season? I know he had an operation, I think, recently on that back.
He has not been ruled out. There's a chance that he could get back toward the end of the season. At what point, no one seems to know. He just really started rehab last week after the surgery. Obviously, you have to go through a period where you just got to let everything settle down before you start the rehab process. And he's been in the walking water tank and all that kind of stuff that they do, and he's been trying to rehab that back at this point. To what degree and what he's been able to do at this juncture, I'm not quite sure, but I know that he is in the rehab process. And I talked to Joey just before the Rutgers ball game the other day as well, just to see how he was doing, and he said he feels good. Things are starting to settle down from a soreness standpoint from the surgery and that kind of thing. So I think he's going to make a concerted effort to get back if he can. But, you never know about rehab or how long that takes. And especially from a back perspective, the last thing you want to do is come back too soon with a back injury. We saw Mike Woodson back in 1979, I think it was, when Mike tried to come back after a back surgery. Actually, that was the 80 season, to be honest. He had back surgery during that season and actually came back at the end of the year and played. And he played very effectively for about a week and a half. And then you could just see that he was drained physically because he wasn't in the kind of shape that you have to be for a full season, and it started to wane on him. But he's one of the few guys I've seen come back during a season from a back surgery during the season. So that's a rarity.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the schedule next week. I see Kofi Coburn on Tuesday, Luka Garza on Sunday. I'm thinking, boy, it'd be nice to have Joey.
Well, I'm telling you, whether people understand this or realize it or not, Joey Brunk was a huge part of what this team was expecting to do this year. I know Archie was counting on him heavily because if you look at Indiana's front line, they've got 2 guys. They've got Race Thompson and Trace Jackson Davis. Geronimo is just a freshman. He's still learning. He's 6'6", so he's an undersized big if you want to put him in that category. And the other guy, Jerome Hunter, is definitely a 3, but he's having to play the 4 a lot because of the situation on the front line of being shorthanded. So there's no question Joey Brunk was a huge part of this team's plans for this year, and him being out has really thwarted that to some degree.
I think you and Archie touched on this a little bit earlier in the week, but was there any chatter about trying to see if the Big Ten could switch a midweek game or even, I guess, a game tomorrow for IU?
Well, I guess there was talk that Northwestern was the opponent that they were hoping to get to into compliance with Indiana to play, but Northwestern balked at it for some reason. And maybe it was something to do with their schedule. It didn't work out. Whatever the case, they decided to say, no, we're not going to do it, and therefore the Big Ten could not schedule a game for Indiana. There's been no game scheduled. Obviously, there's not going to be one at this point now. So Indiana just has to go through the 9-day period without a game, which, that always bothers me a little bit because I've seen teams come back after just 7 days off and be a little rusty from the week before after playing a couple of games a week for 3 or 4 weeks. So it's going to be interesting to see how Indiana performs, but they have got to be ready to play against Illinois. As everyone knows, they're one of the best teams in the league, and you've got to deal with Coburn, and, of course, Io DeSumo is one of the best players in the country, period. And Coburn's probably as good as any other big man in the country, too. It's a matter of whether or not he turns it on in a ball game or not. So, and Illinois is very talented, and Brad Underwood does a great job. So this is going to be a real test. Indiana's already lost to them in Champaign by 9. I thought Indiana played pretty well in that contest, but they're going to have to come back and play a lot better. And the front line is going to have to be zoned in this game because the last time Race and Trace met Kofi Coburn and company, they struggled a little bit.
Voice of the Hoosiers, Don Fisher, joined us here on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I kind of want to switch gears a little bit, Don, to football. I saw you hired Charlton Warren, I think is his name, as their new defensive coordinator. You know anything about him? I mean, the resume looks impressive. You play at Air Force and you coach in the SEC. That's at least something to me.
He's been around the block. I think his last 7 or 8 years, he's had 6 different jobs. But part of that, I asked him that question in a private conversation. I said, why in the world have you traveled around so much here in the last 8 years or so? And he goes, well, primarily it's due to, in positions that I was in, coaches had been let go, and I got let go with them. So he said that's why I've traveled so much. But he says it's been a great experience because I've learned a lot from a lot of different people. And, of course, he's from Georgia, from Atlanta, and under Kirby Smart at the University of Georgia the last couple of years, he said it's really been beneficial for him to learn under Kirby and to know what he's trying to do. And I think this guy brings a lot of experience. He's been a defensive backs coach for most of the time that he's been away from Air Force, but at Air Force he was the defensive coordinator and a co-defensive coordinator for the years that he was there. So this guy's been around. He's a young guy still. He's got a lot of energy, comes from a military background. He played at Air Force and is a military guy, as I said. And when you talk to him, man, he's really sharp. I really like what I see and talk to in regard to Charlton Warren, and I think he's going to be a terrific fit for Indiana.
I think it could help you out from a recruiting standpoint, recruiting in that SEC country. Obviously, Tom's got plenty of connections down there as well, but that can't hurt you.
No, it can't. There's no question about that. And this guy's also had some real credibility as an outstanding recruiter as well, every place he's been. So I think he's very, very much relates to players and to players that out of the high school ranks, and I think he's going to be a great fit for IU. I don't think there's any doubt.
Don, what's on the Don Fisher bucket list for golf courses? Where have you played that is, that you've crossed off the bucket list, and what's still on there?
Well, I got to play Augusta several years ago. I played Pine Valley. I've played it twice. I want to go back to Augusta again. That's a bucket list you can keep checking off year after year if you can get a chance to play it.
Can I ask how you got on Augusta?
I have a friend, a guy named Steve Brown, who's from Elkhart, Indiana, who was an All-American, small All-American basketball player at Augusta State University, and one of his best friends is a guy named Nick Evans. And Nick was kind enough to invite me down to play with Steve back in, I think it was 7 years ago. And we played 2 weeks after the Masters. They'd taken the scaffolding, all that kind of stuff down. It rained, a very slight, slow rain all day long. and it didn't matter a lick. It was still the most pristine golf course I've ever been on, and it was absolutely a pleasure, and it was like a dream come true, to be honest with you. So whatever the weather conditions were, they didn't matter because you didn't even notice them. And it's just a special, special place.
I'm so jealous. How'd you play?
I shot 81, and I was just so mad when we got through with the round for about 5 seconds because I double bogeyed 18, and I could have broken 80. I was so sick about it.
Man, pimento cheese just doesn't taste the same after making the double on 18. You got anything else on the bucket list? Are you St. Andrews, a Pebble Beach, anything else?
I'd love to go to St. Andrews. I played Pebble Beach. I played Spyglass. Those two out there, along with Palmetto. Is it Palmetto Dunes? I think it is. Yeah, I can't remember exactly. It's not the popular one that it used to be. At any rate, I played those three out there. I would love to. I think just about anybody would say I'd love to play Cypress.
Yeah.
That would be a bucket lister, no question about that. But you know what? It doesn't matter where I play. I can go to Sarah Shank or Pleasant Run or those kinds of places too. I love playing golf. It's just a big part of what I do in the off season, and it's been a big part of that for years now. So I just love golf. I really do.
I was texting some buddies last night about coming down and playing the foul course. Have you played the new IU course yet?
Oh yeah. We've been on it about 7 or 8 times already. It's
the real deal.
It's the real deal. It's really hard. It's a great golf course though. Eric Sewer is my partner on basketball broadcasts. He has been out there. He's broken 72 on it already.
Ooh.
He's been down to 68 or 69. I think he shot on it. This guy can really play, and he's a guy that picks up anything that he does athletically. He's really good at it. And
see, people like that just piss me off, Don. I mean, you're a Division I basketball player, and you're breaking 70 at a course that people have told me is as hard as Wolf Run.
You're exactly right. He pisses me off too.
Before I let you go, I don't know if you saw this news earlier, but John Chaney unfortunately passed away at the age of 89. Earlier today. I was curious if you ever came across John, ever talked to him. I know you played them actually kind of frequently in the 90s and early 2000s.
Absolutely. He was kind of like Coach Knight in the sense of how players looked at him. I mean, he was a tough guy to play for, one of those guys that didn't put up with any crap, and you better do the way that he wanted it done or you weren't going to get it done. But he was a pleasure to interview. I interviewed him every time that we played them, and every time I talked to him, I went away impressed with just what an articulate man he was, how smart he was about the game of basketball, and what he was just a nice human being on top of that. But he was a tough basketball coach, to say the least.
There were some good games. Temple IU games were really good games with him at the helm.
One of the games that we played was the only time that I've ever had the flu since I've been doing Indiana basketball games. And I was so sick the day before that we played them, and I basically was up most of the night doing what you do when you have the flu.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And got up the next morning, and I got something from Tim Garl for about 4 hours before tip time, and I was able to do the game. I was really sicker than the dog. And fortunately, I'd done my interview with Coach Chaney like 2 days before, so I didn't give him the flu. I actually did it over the phone. So I was pretty lucky in that vein. But we had some great matchups with Temple during those years.
Have you ever missed a game?
I missed 3 games when my dad was almost killed in an accident down in Mesa, Arizona, back in 1989, I think it was. He was hit by a garbage truck. He was riding a bicycle. My dad was in his his late 70s at that time. And the old farmer survived it. He went through it, but we were down there with my dad. My brother and I flew down from different areas. My brother lives in Salt Lake, and we flew down there for his problems in that trip. So we were down there for about 3 or 4 days, and he came out of it fine. And he didn't come out of it just super, but you know what I'm saying. He came out of it. He was alive and was able to do everything after that. So
wow.
But that was the only time I missed a lot of basketball games in Indiana, other than the fact that we've had conflicts with football, as you know.
Yeah, obviously. All right, 9 o'clock, right, Tuesday, which I'm sure you just love to see, the old 9 o'clock tip on Tuesday night. It'll be you and Eric. And Inside Indiana, I think, will be, or Inside IU basketball will be Monday here at 7 o'clock. Yep. Don, hopefully we can get out on the golf course this summer. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, Kevin. Call anytime. You know I'm available.
I love it. That's Don Fisher right there on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, the legend. No one better than Don Fisher right there. I mean, again, Eric Sir, that's just unfair. I know he's a walk-on, but still, you're a Division I basketball player and you can break 70 at a golf course that everyone says is brutally hard. I still haven't played it yet. I'm jealous, but I got to get down there this summer. All right, we're going to have Marcus Brady, Colts offense coordinator, join us. We probably should take a break here, honestly, Isaac. It looks like he's going to be joining us at 5:25. So, yeah, we'll have the Colts OC join us. We come back here. Kevin Bowen filling in for John, 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
Hey, it's JMV with my daughter, Lainey.
Hello.
Lainey, why don't you tell everybody why you're here?
Because I'm helping you announce the Forum Credit Union's Sprout of the Month winner.
Each month, you can enter your child's picture in Forum's Sprout of the Month contest.
It can be a school pic, a pic with them playing a sport, even a pic with your dad.
The winner receives $100 in a Sprout account, Forum Credit Union's college savings account.
It helps kids like me save money for college.
And with the recent events, it's more important now to teach your young folks how to save.
Dad, I think it's time for this month's winner.
This month's winner of Forum Credit Union's Sprout of the Month is Ben Southard.
Well, Dad, another one in the books. Hey, what's the over-under for the winner next month?
You gotta stop listening to my show. Remember, go to 1075thefan.com and read about the complete details on Forum Credit Union's Sprout of the Month. Lainey and I will be back next month with another winner from 1075 The Fan and Forum Credit Union.
Hey, it's Big Joe for AAA. AAA Hoosier Motor Club, the place where you can get peace of mind when you're out there driving on the road. Or more importantly, like me and my family, when I'm busy at work and I know my wife is running my kids here and there, it's great to know that she is taken care of. Should she have any kind of a problem out there on the road, flat tires, running out of gas, a dead battery, even if her keys get locked in the car, I know that somebody is going to be on their way to help her immediately. And that's become even more important when she's out of town quite a bit, helping to care for her mom and dad. And the great thing about AAA is they work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to make sure their members are covered. And you know what's amazing? 97% of all travel is being done by car now, so a AAA membership is an absolute no-brainer. It's easy to become a member. All you have to do is go to AAA.com, that's AAA.com, or call 844-GO-AAA-GO. And when you do, don't forget to ask for a quote for AAA auto, home, and life insurance, because you don't have to be stuck on the side of the road to get assistance from AAA. That's AAA.com or 844-GO-AAA-GO.
Bet Rivers Sportsbook wants you to experience Rush Pay. When you want to cash out your winnings, you don't want to wait 2 days just to get the go-ahead to withdraw your money. That's why Bet Rivers created Rush Pay. With Rush Pay, 80% of withdrawal requests are approved instantly, meaning you'll get your money faster. Why wait? Get your cash when you want it. Bet with a winner. Bet with Bet Rivers Sportsbook at BetRivers.com. Must be 21 and located in Indiana. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 1-800-994-8448.
JMV here for LD Smith Plumbing. Have you already called out a plumber only to be unimpressed with their knowledge and skill? Or maybe shocked about pricing? Then call my guy Lance at LD Smith Plumbing for a free second opinion. I promise I've used them. They are awesome. LD Smith Plumbing is a local company that can tackle any issue, big or small, for you. Online, ldsmithplumbing.com or 317-284-9526. 317-284-9526. Must provide competitor invoice for free second opinion. Details at ldsmithplumbing.com.
If we learned anything in 2020, it's that life is unpredictable. There are some things that you just can't control. All the more reason why you need to appreciate and hold tight those special people in your life. That relationship you know you can count on no matter what. At Diamonds Direct, your love is our passion. Your relationship is why we exist, and we stand ready to help you create those memorable moments in 2021 that celebrate and solidify those unbreakable bonds. Our selection of precious rare diamonds has never been greater. From a simple 1-carat princess cut to a breathtaking 10-carat round brilliant, we have your perfect diamond in stock every day at the guaranteed best value price in America. And even in unpredictable times, Diamonds Direct's commitment to you will never waver. We promise the largest selection, the highest quality, the best value, the strongest warranties, and the most unforgettable experience. So as life gets back to normal this new year, remember, cling to the ones you adore by showing them how much they mean to you. And we'll always be here to help. Diamonds Direct.
Keystone at the Crossing.
Listen closely. A gentle Gulf breeze floats through the air. Emerald green waters gently lap the shoreline. Palm trees sway gently to and fro. Let your senses come alive in St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida, where miles of white sand beaches meet world-class sunsets. Where all things vibrant and vivid come together. Plan your next escape at embraceyoursenses.com.
If you're an independent floor installer, aren't you tired of always chasing your next job and working without insurance or a retirement plan? Isn't it time for a change? Marburger Flooring has immediate openings for experienced commercial floor coverers in the Indy area. Apply today at carpenters.com. Stop worrying about job security. Start earning high wages, insurance, and a pension while working in schools, hotels, and more with Marburger. So if you're an experienced commercial floor installer ready to change your life, apply today at carpenters.com. That's carpenters.com.
It's the Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe.
Lions reporter Michael Rothstein.
I can see at least half the teams in the league inquiring about Matthew Stafford. And if you're the Lions at that point, you have all of the leverage and you can try and get more. To me, a deal that might get it done. 1 or 2 firsts, maybe a young player that might get you over the top. So there are different ways to create this deal.
The Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe.
Weekday mornings at 7
on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
My vision is to take this team as the first franchise to the Saturn Football League and play against 8-foot gargoyles that run 3/8 speed.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Happy Friday to everybody out there. Thanks for tuning in. Kevin Bowen filling in today for John. He'll be back Monday, and then I'll be back Tuesday. I think a big one Tuesday. I think that's Pacers-Bucks, I want to say Tuesday. Pacers got the Hornets tonight. Our coverage begins at 6:30. Should have Marcus Brady join us, Colts offensive coordinator, here any minute now. So that'll be great to chat with him. He got the promotion earlier this week, and we will chat with him about a variety of things. It's now becoming Frank Reich's right-hand man. Is he good to go, Isaac? Yep. Awesome. Let's head to the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. He's been a busy man, as you would expect on this Friday afternoon. He is Marcus Brady, the new offensive coordinator of the Colts. Good afternoon, Marcus.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Congrats on the promotion first. If I would have told Marcus Brady 3 years ago that you'd be an offensive coordinator in the NFL, would you have been surprised, or is this kind of, hey, this is the type of trajectory that I feel like I'm on?
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, that's what my plan was. I mean, when I got here, I set goals and, just continue to work hard and then wait for the opportunity to present itself.
I was told to ask you about your basketball skills. Someone has told me here that you are a hooper. How would you rate your basketball skills?
Depends. I'm a shooter. I'll tell you that. I am a good player, competitor. I play when I get a chance to, but I know I can shoot, and I can shoot with the best of them. So
I love it. You got an NBA comp for yourself?
No, I wouldn't put myself there. But at least among the players and coaches in the Colts building, I can compete with the best of them.
Is the goal still in there? I know COVID-wise, maybe not, but have you had some maybe friendly wagers with some players and coaches?
We haven't, not recently, but the goal is still in here, but haven't got any shots up here lately.
Marcus Brady, new offensive coordinator for the Colts, joined us here on the Ride with JMV. For fans that might not know, you primarily played in the CFL, but I think we're with the Packers in, was it 01, 02, something around then? What do you remember
02.
about that training camp?
Yeah, so 02 season, I was a undrafted free agent and then signed there, got there for like the second mini camp in OTAs, and then did some summer training and training camp there. It was a great quarterback room I was able to be in. I was able to, spend some time with Brett Favre. Doug Peterson he was the backup at the time, so it was a great room to be a part of. Learned a lot in my brief stint there, and I enjoyed my time there.
What ultimately attracted you to the CFL, where you stayed for a long time, not only as a player but as a coach?
Really, it was just the opportunity to continue playing. I love competing. I love playing football. I love the quarterback position. So the CFL gave me an opportunity to, continue my professional career. So I went up there, and then when I got up there, I enjoyed my time up there. Enjoyed the game. There's great people there. I met some good players, coaches, built some good relationships there. And I just loved the CFL. It was a great time there. I spent 16 years there. A lot of good memories there.
Did you know Frank before taking the job here in 2018?
I did. So he came and visited us when I first started coaching in Montreal. He knows Mark Trestman, Scott Milanovic. Mark Trestman was the head coach at the time. Scott, who's here now, was the offensive coordinator, and then I was the receivers coach at the time, and he came up and visited. So that was my first opportunity to meet him, and then I might have met him a couple other times, maybe down at the Senior Bowl, I believe.
I remember listening to you earlier in the week. You said that you learned a little bit of kind of West Coast stuff under Mark Trestman. Was the CFL mainly that in terms of an offensive system? Or?
No, so Mark brought the West Coast system when he came in 2008. I was actually my last year playing. He brought that up. Scott Milanovic was actually the OC. And so essentially what we did is the pass game was the West Coast offense, but then we still had CFL, run game. Scott did a good job of converting the West Coast style of adding that extra player because it's 12 on 12 up there and how it could fit within that system. But as far as the progressions as the quarterback, just the system of the offense, it was still West Coast based. So I was able to learn that. And actually that's what Green Bay was at the time when I was there. So I actually was kind of familiar with some of the terminology.
Marcus Brady, Colts offensive coordinator, joined us here on the Ride of the JMV. You've been the quarterback's coach for the last few seasons. For fans that might not know, kind of walk us through some of your maybe weekly responsibilities that comes with that role.
Well, in season, the first thing is protection. So I start my week off seeing how I can protect the quarterback, both in the play action game, drop back game. Look at all the different blitz packages that that opponent presents. Break that down. When do they come? What's the look? What is the tail or the tip that's going to show, so we could direct our protection to that way and get it picked up. And then once I get that done, I'm working with Tom Rathman at the time, working with Chris Strasser, and then we get that finalized, and then we present it to the team. As well as Philip as well. He's a big part of that as well. And then throughout the week, present it to the players on Wednesday. Usually it's just first down pressures that day. Thursday is third down pressures. And then Friday is more blitz zero and some other checks that we can get to.
Are those individual meetings with Philip and maybe even a Ryan Kelly, or is it more, like you said, in front of the offense?
No, that's in front of the first two meetings, Wednesday and Thursday, that's in front of the quarterbacks, the O-line, the running backs. And then later in the week when I do go over blitz zero and all our checks, that involves now the full offense because the receivers need to know what pass checks we're getting to, how we're picking it up. Tight ends need to know because we may have to add them into protection. And then, like I said, the receivers. So they're all in there. So I'm up in there presenting to all of them.
Obviously, this year, probably a little bit of a new wrinkle with having Jacob in the quarterback room. What specifically changed for you this year with just, again, all the COVID stuff, no preseason for a guy like Jacob Eason? What changed for you and how you try to get him to develop? Not a lot of practice reps, occasional scout team work when Philip got hurt. What was the week-to-week like for Jacob Eason?
It was just more time, trying to find a little bit more time because, obviously it's still a busy schedule, and then most importantly, you got to get Philip ready. But whenever having extra time was a post-practice or in between meetings, or even before meetings, Jacob would come in at times and just answer any questions that he had out on the field, get some extra throws, usually kind of going through the script because obviously he doesn't get the reps of the practice. Pick a period, and you can't do the entire practice, so pick a period of that practice and then kind of go through it, let him, talk to his reads, throw that route. He has some receivers out there, spot up and throw. And then sometimes we'd actually throw routes with the receivers if they still had enough juice after a long practice.
Chris talked about pregame. He would kind of run, I don't know if it was a normal route tree, but he would run through some things on the field before games.
Yes, that was actually pretty good. That was some good work there. So get a good sweat for him, getting a lot of throws, rushing him so he's moving in the pocket, getting those type of throws. So we just had a couple of receivers just spotting up for him. But kind of just, some of the plays that are in the game plan. Obviously, we don't want to show too much, but the traditional plays that we run every week, the play action, just different unique footworks and then different throws for him. But it was a good workout for him. He and I actually both. I was sweating on that.
When you evaluated his film coming out, obviously not a ton of college film, maybe compared to some other draftable quarterbacks, but still had a decent amount. What jumped off at you, good or bad, about what you saw?
Well, his arm talent was the biggest thing that you saw. He's good size, physically. Can move around a little bit, but the arm talent to be able to push the ball down the field, that was the biggest thing that you see. He has that quarterback build and big arm, and you want to try to hone in some of the other skills. Some of them things that, we try to work on after watching that film, his footwork and his accuracy, which to me go hand in hand. And that's kind of what we focused on during training camp and during the season.
How much is a guy like him, sooner or later, it's just you got to rip off the red jersey and see what you have? Obviously, again, COVID, the lack of the preseason just absolutely killed that for him this year. But how much is it? Eventually, you got to get to that point where live bullets are flying before you really know what you got.
No doubt. I mean, and that's what we're waiting for. Obviously, it's unfortunate he didn't get that opportunity. But next year, God willing, that we get our preseason, that he's going to get a lot of time. A lot of action, so we're going to be able to see him with live bullets going.
Marcus Brady, Colts offensive coordinator, joined us here on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. What is kind of your main duties, main responsibilities this early in the offseason right now? I know you just got promoted, but what's kind of on your plate here to start the offseason?
Right now, we're just trying to finalize the staff, having a couple interviews, and then trying to, figure out who's coming in to fill the roles that we need, and then also just finalizing kind of our schedule of what we're going to do once the staff is set, as far as our offseason plan of, teaching some of these new guys, these coaches, the offense, getting them acclimated to our system, and really just kind of go from there, find ways to get better and add maybe new wrinkles here and there. But we had good production in our offense last year. So again, we want to continue that. We have a good foundation and then just kind of build from there. And then the other part of it is evaluating players. I mean, we got free agency coming up. We have the draft coming up. So in those times, we're start evaluating players as well.
How much of your time would you say right now is spent on evaluating the quarterback market, whether that be free agents, trade, potential guys, or even the early look at the draft?
Definitely spending some time there. Obviously, that's an important position that we got to iron out. And so, yes, I'm looking at guys on film, and then we'll go from there.
Do you get into the draft this early, or is it still kind of the free agency guys or trade guys?
It's a little early right now. We kind of start with free agency because that hits first. I believe that's like March 17th. So we'll start with those guys, and then we'll get more into the draft as our scouting department kind of narrows down our guys that we want to focus on.
Obviously a week from Sunday, Marcus, Chiefs and Bucks, and you look at those two quarterbacks, and to me, they're so generational, but at the same time, they're vastly different styles. I guess what stands out to you about Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady and how they have gone about playing the quarterback position?
Well, they're fun to watch. Definitely that. Obviously watching Tom over the years, and he just finds a way to win. He's so poised in the pocket, makes big-time throws. He does it all. So, he just won some big-time games when everybody thought he was out of it. So, obviously, he's proven there. And then, with Mahomes coming up, obviously had a great past couple of years and amazing season this year. And his arm talent is unbelievable. The throws that he's able to make, off-platform throws is ridiculous, and he's fun to watch.
If I were giving you kind of a create a player video game with a quarterback, what would be kind of 3 or 4 traits that you would immediately want in that guy?
Arm talent, being able to push the ball down the field, so arm strength, accuracy, and then really being able to move around in the pocket, be able to create extra time in the pocket because defenses are good. They got some good pass rushers. So, when quarterbacks are able to buy a little bit of extra time, give the receiver a little bit more time to get open, that's where big plays are made. So those are probably the top 3 right there.
Do you think the mobility trade or just even kind of subtle movements to keep plays alive, do you think that's grown a little bit more lately here in today's NFL?
No doubt. You're seeing it across the league, guys that can move around. You don't necessarily have to be the Lamar Jacksons of the league. But you're going to have to move in the pocket. Like I said, defenses are good. Pass rushers are. The D-ends are so much faster now these days, and so quarterbacks need to be able to buy some time and move, and they're creating big plays. Josh Allen made a living this season of just buying time and making big plays down the field.
Certainly, yeah, we saw that in the wild card game. Just a couple more with you, Marcus, if you don't mind. What were maybe 1 or 2 takeaways, the biggest things you learned from coaching Philip Rivers?
From coaching him, well, I learned a lot from him just through his experience, and with him knowing so much. As a coach, it made me better, but also I learned how much you can put on a quarterback's plate. When you have IQ that high. So it was good, awesome working with him, and And, I'm looking forward, obviously, to the next quarterback, but I enjoyed my relationship with him this season. There's just so much that he brought to the table from a protection standpoint, from game planning. He helped out in game planning. And just the way he thought and went about, as a true professional, it was awesome to witness that.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, your name was floated around potentially for the offensive coordinator job down in Jacksonville. I would assume that would have involved calling plays. What was the balance for you in weighing opportunities as of, whether you're in Jacksonville potentially calling plays for the number 1 overall pick, or now you're here where there's an uncertain quarterback future and you aren't calling plays?
Well, I wanted to be here. The opportunity elsewhere, they didn't. I didn't get that far. Once the opportunity came here, this is where I wanted to be. And so I really don't have to worry about the what-if game anymore. But I'm glad to be here and glad to be part of the horseshoe here. The family's here, so it's great things here.
When you're not hooping and it's not COVID, you got any go-to spots in the Indy area for the Brady family?
Well, I would say my favorite restaurant would probably be Chiba. I'm a sushi guy, and there's some good, actually, sushi there.
What's your go-to sushi spot?
Chiba in Westfield.
Chiba, nice. All right, Marcus. Well, thank you for the time. I know you're a busy man, and congrats again, and looking forward to a pretty busy offseason for you guys.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's Marcus Brady right there, new offensive coordinator of the Indianapolis Colts, joining us here on the ride with JMV. He's a hooper, from what I hear. Boy, he was confident about his shooting as well. Gotta love that. If you're gonna be if you're gonna coach football, I don't care if it's football. If you're in the state of Indiana, you got to be able to knock down a jumper or two. JMV would appreciate that. What do you say? Arm talent. That's what he's looking for the most out of a quarterback. It was off platform. You saw Josh Allen make some of those plays in that wild card game. And those were literally the plays that Buffalo made early in that game to even make it whatever it was at halftime. It's Buffalo, had the lead, I want to say 14-10 at half, something like that. It was literally Josh Allen's off-platform plays. And I just think that's what you're seeing more and more of in today's NFL. You're seeing more and more QBs, even, again, if it's not to the extent of a Lamar Jackson or somebody like that, it's just keeping plays alive. So thank you to Marcus Brady for joining us there. Curious your guys' reactions to that. Any last thoughts? We'll preview a little Pacers Hornets as well when we come back again. K Bowen 1070 on Twitter. Thank you to Marcus Brady for joining us. Mike Wells, Don Fisher so far. Podcast will be up one more time here, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Need plans for the big game coming up on Sunday, February 7th? Head to the fan contest page today to win a $250 gift card from Twin Peaks to be used on that night for you and 9 guests.
Let's face it, football fans, 2020 was kind of like... Ouch. But Unibet Sportsbook is betting 2021 is going to be a bit more like... And it starts with the big game. Sign up for $20 free today, $21 on game day, and 2 $250 risk-free bets. Let's do 2021 better. Unibet Sportsbook. Crazy about the odds. Must be 21 or over to play and physically located in Indiana. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, it's JMV for CarX Tire and Auto, and their clearance sale going on right now. 4-passenger tires, just $299, or 4 light truck or SUV tires, just $399. 50K mile warranty as well. In-stock tires only while supplies last. Go to CarX.com or visit one of the 13 area locations. CarX Tire and Auto, Indianapolis' full-service neighborhood auto service provider for 40-plus years. Better Business Bureau A+ rated. Don't worry. Call the CarX man.
It's Terry Stacy for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, B&W Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drains. Owner Beth Rovazini says to keep you safe, they've implemented a zero-contact service call.
We can give you a quote for a new American Standard furnace and air conditioning system without ever coming to your home. With technology today, between FaceTime and Zoom and everything, we can get all the information. You can be in your home, we'll get the information, and we'll send you a proposal.
Check them out at bigbblacktrucks.com. B&W, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Hey, it's John for Love Heating and Air. John and Chris Love with the best service this time of year, making sure you're warm and toasty in your home, and that no-cost second opinion at 317-353-2141. And if you mention my name, you'll get $125 off the most advanced air purification system that's out there. That's iWave. Right now, use my name. Love Heating and Air Conditioning, 317-353-2141. Online, love-hvac.com.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. It's the first of the year, and the housing market is already red hot. If you're even considering buying a home this year, we need to get you pre-approved today. We get you pre-approved the day you call in, lower interest rates, and we can still close your loan in less than 30 days. Start the new year off right and get pre-approved for your new home purchase by visiting thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
The month of January is almost over, but the hot deals at Payless Liquors are not. You can still get bottles of Pop-Off vodka in the 1.75 liter for $8.99. Jim Beam White Label 175s and Absolute 80 proof 175s are only $26.99. Cabo Wabo Blanco, if you're looking for a great tequila, $34.99 for the 750 milliliter bottle. And Wild Turkey Long Branch, also in the 750, is $36.99 at all 26 Central Indiana Payless Liquor locations and online at PaylessLiquors.com. Don't pay more. Get more and pay less at Payless Liquors.
Hey, it's Jeff. Coming up Monday morning at 7 a.m. on the Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe. KB will stop by. We'll have the latest on the quarterback carousel in the NFL.
The Ride with JMV. 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Again, Don Fisher, Mike Wells, Marcus Brady, Colts OC. Thank you to those three joining us there. I'd say Don Fisher, Marcus Brady in a little bit of a different division than old Mike Wells. That's our community service we did on a Friday, having Mike Wells on for the old 20 minutes that he was on. We got a new team, I guess, in the Matthew Stafford sweepstakes. The Rams, without a first-round pick, have entered the fray. I think it was Jeremy Fowler, maybe, from ESPN, reporting that. So that's now two NFC West teams that have reportedly had interest, or AKA, I guess, sent trade offers, maybe. At least the 49ers, that's been rumored a little bit. So, you know, we talked about it earlier in the show. There's a domino effect to this all. And the current quarterback group, we feel like it is a Matthew Stafford or bust situation, kind of in the, I don't know, is it fair to say acceptable quarterbacks that Colts fans would like? Would Jimmy Garoppolo or Jared Goff appease anybody? I mean, doesn't get me super, super excited, but there's two guys that have played in Super Bowl. So the report is, and I don't know how much validity there is, it's that the 49ers are going to send 2 seconds and 2/3. They only have 1 second this year. And if I'm looking here, I don't even know if they got a third. San Francisco. So I don't know where this trade capital's coming from, but whatever. That is the report. And again, Vincent Frank is the name of the reporter. I don't know how accurate that is. And the Rams, they traded, their number one overall pick for Jalen Ramsey. So that's Jacksonville drafting at 25. Man, Jacksonville's got so much draft capital. Whew. Jacksonville's picking number 1, number 25, number 33, and again at 45. And they got all that cap. I mean, there's a reason that Urban Meyer took that job. And obviously Trevor Lawrence is a big reason why, but still, they got a lot there. So I think that's what we have to keep in mind, is just the whole domino of where Stafford ends up. We'll see if the Colts are willing to get into the bidding war. But, hey, if you want to get into the pool, Colts, you got to go. I mean, you got to dive in the deep end real quick. And that was my biggest kind of question about the whole Stafford thing, is this is a very foreign territory for Chris Ballard, because, he really hasn't had to make the monumental quarterback decision. And we know how he feels about bidding wars. Chris Ballard is very stringent, assigns a value to a player. When that player goes above that value, 99 out of 100 times, Chris Ballard will sit it out. Now, again, quarterback's a different animal. So how willing would you be to pursue and stay in that bidding war and sweeten that package and those things? Because the Colts are desperate right now at quarterback. And I guess we'll find out how desperate they think they are, but in my mind, they are definitely desperate. Joe chimes in, how come we never hear Ryan Kelly's name mentioned in the left tackle discussion? He is a trusted contributor signed long-term. Oh, no, Joe. I mean, center's playing left tackle? No. The physique, like we said earlier, the old great Joe Wright's quote, offensive linemen are made and offensive tackle or left tackles are born. Can you imagine Jeff Saturday playing left tackle? It's not as easy as it seems. And Ryan Kelly's so critical for their center position. And, we just talked about Marcus Brady and the pass protection plan that comes in every week. Ryan Kelly's a huge part of that. No. Tyler says, did you just see what T.Y. tweeted? Yeah, I saw that he responded to someone that he's a free agent. I mean, he's right. I don't want to read too much into it. T.Y. is a free agent. I mean, the Colts still have a decision to make. Obviously, T.Y. has a decision to make. What that wide receiver market looks like. I mean, there are some good wide receivers in the open market. Some good wideouts. I know JMV loves Allen Robinson. I'm a big fan of that as well. Kenny Golladay. Juju Smith-Schuster. I don't know if Colts would be up for that, although Chris Ballard says the locker room's ready to take a risk, take a chance on a non-horseshoe guy, whatever that equates to. But I think there's a real possibility T.Y. comes back, but I think if you can get younger and you can find an Allen Robinson, there's a couple other wideouts. I should probably look that up that are free agents this year. That's a route that I'd be more willing to pursue to get a little bit younger there. But I've always been a big T.Y. guy, and even early on this year, I didn't feel like his struggles all of a sudden meant, no way, shape, or form are you bringing him back. I mean, we heard Jim Irsay talk about it earlier in the week. Upgrade at wideout, upgrade at tight end. I mean, he'd love one or two more explosive playmakers on this offense. Corey Davis, that's kind of an interesting name as a free agent. Top 10 pick, struggled in Tennessee or just never lived up to it. Will Fuller, can the dude stay healthy? Larry Fitzgerald, you talk about it, just an incredible. That's a first ballot Hall of Famer, no questions asked. And I guess another question you have to have with T.Y. at this age is can he kind of retool his game at this age? If the physical aspect does catch up to him as well. All right, let's hit up Alex here, Isaac on line 1. What's up, Alex?
Hey, what's going on, man?
How you doing?
Oh, just living the dream.
I hear you. Happy Friday, man.
Right? Yeah, that Friday needed to come a little bit faster this week. But anyway, so I wanted to just chat you up real quick about the quarterback situation. Now, this is something that any rational person probably realizes there's almost no chance of it happening. But I was on NFL.com today, and they were talking about the top landing spots for Deshaun Watson. Now, I know Houston will want probably the world, and the last thing they would ever want to have happen is to have him go to a team within the AFC South. But you just mentioned Will Fuller, and I'm just thinking, I don't know. I guess it's just kind of me, popping off at the mouth when it comes to things that may or may not happen. But what are your thoughts on that potential and
on
what
Fuller?
Would have to? Sorry,
or Watson.
Watson, yeah.
I mean, Alex, to be honest with you, I think there's a better chance I'm starting at quarterback next year than Deshaun Watson is.
Yeah.
Are the Texans that dumb?
Well,
with Bill O'Brien, maybe, but I mean,
okay.
I just and thank you for the call, Alex. Have a great weekend, but I can't see Houston doing that. I honestly can't see until he gets traded. I won't believe it. I just think, based off what Nick Caserio said earlier today, zero interest in trading Deshaun Watson. David Culley, the new head coach, the reason I came here was because of Watson. I think it's a very emotional time for Deshaun Watson after the season. And you get some new faces in that organization. You get a little bit more re-energized. He's made a lot of inroads in Houston. I don't think that's a 100% done deal. He's being traded, let alone to a team in the division. But I mean, hell yeah, if you're Chris Ballard, you certainly pick up that phone and just you never know with how they've ran that franchise over the past few years. Justin, I apologize if you've covered this earlier, but do you see the Colts tagging anyone? Maybe Xavier Rhodes. He probably wouldn't love that, but that to me would be the most obvious one. Justin Houston, I don't think he's good enough, honestly, to be tagged. I don't know. Maybe that isn't fair, but I don't think I'd tag him. Yeah, that is something that I should probably look into a little bit more, but those would be the two that stick out to me. When I'm filling in next Tuesday, we'll get more into the Jacob Eason stuff. I went back and watched probably 6 or 7 of his games at Washington, and we'll kind of break some of that down of what I saw there. Tyler, what do you think T.Y. means when he says ghost out? Well, I think he means the ghost is signing off Twitter. Looks like he had a Q&A, right? I'm not going to read too much into Jim Irsay, and I don't think T.Y.'s made up his mind. I don't think the Colts have made up their mind. Folks, we still got 6 more weeks to go until free agency starts. A lot of dominoes to fall between now and then. A lot. And I've said it before, and I'm pretty adamant. I think Xavier Rhodes is the most important free agent on that list. More important than T.Y., more important than Justin Houston. I think you can make cases for bringing back Hilton. Certainly, you can make cases for bringing back Houston. Danico Autry as well. But I just think when I look at corner, there's not a lot of guys I trust on that depth chart. At wideout, I trust Michael Pittman. I really like what Pittman showed late in the year. I know he had a drop or two in that Buffalo game, but he made some plays post-catch that just has been missing. This offense has really lacked that. So, but still, wideout is a need. All right, Pacers-Hornets tonight at 6:30. I believe the Pacers are favored by a couple. I like the Pacers tonight. I know in these back-to-backs, sometimes you get the other team that they'll split, but unless Cody Zeller tries as hard as he did the other night, I like the Pacers. You got to expect Gordon to play a little better. I think he only had 16, maybe, something like that. But really, for me, the big one Sunday. Joel Embiid. Boy, can you imagine JMV's mentions on Monday or on late Sunday night if that doesn't go well for Miles? That's one he has to have circled on the old calendar. All right, thank you to Marcus Brady. Thank you to Mike Wells, Don Fisher. Again, I'll be back on Tuesday. John will be back Monday. Tuesday, we'll have Greg Rakestraw, Sam Monson, and then sounds like Nyheim Hines and potentially Jacob Eason joining us as well. The last word is next. Pacers-Hornets coverage begins at 6:30. Kevin Bowen signing off, everybody. Appreciate you tuning in.
Sports with Dan Dakich.
He is from Barstool Sports. Big Cat.
I would do everything to get a guy like Aaron Rodgers. I'd do half of that to get a guy like Matt Stafford. The Colts, I truly do think, are a Matt Stafford ability. Like, if Phillip Rivers was just a little tiny bit better, I think the Colts could still be in this thing. I think Matt Stafford is that little tiny bit better, maybe even more than a little tiny bit better.
Dan Dakich, weekdays noon to 3 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Looking a little scruffy? It's time to get cleaned up at Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Greenwood. On State Road 135, just north of Smith Valley Road, Lady Jane's in Greenwood, it's wicked awesome.
Hey, it's Big Joe for BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks, and we invite you to discover a brand new way to bet parlays. Introducing one-game parlays. It's an exciting new feature designed to help you make selections within a single game from over 400 bet types, including team and player props. Log into your BetMGM account and raise the stakes for a chance to win big. Making your same-game win, total, and prop bets is easy with one-game parlay. Also love the parlay generator, where you can keep spinning the possibilities until you find the perfect parlay for you. If you're new to BetMGM, then sign up today and make every play of every game matter more than ever. You can make one-game parlay bets on pro football, soccer, and NBA games, with more sports coming soon. So go ahead and take your favorite player to score, the home team to cover, and the over in yards for the star running back. Log in today or download the BetMGM app to try the one-game parlay and turn your game day into a payday. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Have to be 21 or older to wager. If you know somebody who has a gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Are fears of a stock market downturn preventing you from investing? Hi, I'm Rick Edelman. You know you need to invest to get better returns, but you're worried about losing a lot of money if stocks fall. Well, I have the answer for you. Introducing Downside Defender. This new service lets you own a diversified portfolio, but it lets you tell us a target value that you don't want your portfolio to go below. If the account value drops, we'll reduce your stock allocation to help prevent your portfolio from falling below the target you set. Then, as markets improve, we build the portfolio's allocation back up. Downside Defender isn't market timing. It's a smart way to defend your future. Talk with one of my colleagues here at Edelman Financial Engines so we can help you decide if Downside Defender is right for you. For now, there's limited availability for Downside Defender, so call now, 888-PLAN-RIC. That's 888-PLAN-RIC, or visit us at rickedelman.com. That's ricedelman.com.
Jason Hammer here for Indy's hometown sportsbook, BetRivers, BetRivers.com. Here's why I prefer BetRivers over any other sports betting site. You get your money faster. It's your money. You want it. You shouldn't have to wait 48 hours. And their profit boosts make sure that you get the biggest bang for your buck. That's what you're looking for as a sports bettor. So go to BetRivers right now and get those bets in for the NFL championship games this weekend. Must be 21 and over, a resident of Indiana, and if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Have you ever wondered why eyeglasses cost so much? Glasses have been around 700 years. Isn't technology supposed to get less expensive over time? Well, there's a simple explanation. For decades, the eyewear industry has been dominated by a single company that's kept prices artificially high while reaping huge profits.
Yikes.
Warby Parker was created to change that. They design and produce their own eyewear and then sell it directly to you for a fraction of the price. Warby Parker's high-quality glasses start at just $95, including your prescription. And if you need an updated prescription, they've got a few easy ways to help you get one. Just go to warbyparker.com to try 5 pairs of frames for free. They'll ship them to you to try out for 5 days. If you find a style you like, they'll send you a fresh pair with your prescription. Easy. Go to warbyparker.com to pick your 5 frames to try on at home for free. That's warbyparker.com to get started for free. warbyparker.com.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WFNI, WIBC, HD2, W298BB, WIBC, HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Soccer Saturday featuring Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan.
Your work week is over. Kick back and get the latest on the Colts and the NFL on The Last Word with Jeffrey Gorman and Matt Taylor.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to The Last Word. Thank you to Kevin Bowen. My name is Jeffrey Gorman, and joined every Friday by the voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor. Mate, how we doing today?
Fantastic. Friday night, even in the doldrums of winter, is always a good time. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, but I don't care about the weather right now. There's too much crap to talk about, and it's almost a tornado. And I don't mean that in a negative sense, but if I may, Matt Taylor, I want to go over some recent happenings in Colts world since the playoff loss to the Buffalo Bills. Anthony Costanzo retired. Phillip Rivers retired. Nick Sirianni, the new offensive coordinator in Philadelphia. He also dragged with him Kevin Patullo and defensive backs coach Jonathan Gannon as his defensive coordinator.
Yep.
Tom Rathman, the all-time great fullback.
Your guy. Yes, guy.
My guy. Possibly the greatest fullback to ever play the game. Tom Rathman has called it quits. And also Jason Michael, the Colts tight end coach, has now ended up in...
He's in Philly as well.
He's in Philly as well. That's right. Sirianni grabbed him. So we have coaching turnover, we have roster turnover, and most importantly, Matt Taylor, we have no quarterback at the present time. but that will be remedied, and I just want to get your thoughts.
You paint a really good picture, don't you?
But I'm telling you, and I'm sounding like a company man, but I'm not. This is what Chris Ballard gets paid for. This is what Jim Irsay digs into his pocket and pays Chris Ballard for. Hey, put a winner on the field, and up to this point, he's done a heck of a job, considering that an all-pro quarterback
just said, hey, I've had enough with this game and I'm going to retire. And ever since then, doing everything they can to find that quarterback of the future. And we saw what Phillip Rivers did in the last year. My point is this. There is a great nucleus that potentially a hotshot rookie, or even more potentially, a veteran seasoned quarterback can come in and can take the nucleus with them to the next level. Matt, let's start with it. Costanzo, Phillip Rivers, the players fortunate of this, the no quarterback. Before we get into the coaching stuff, how do you feel about this time of year, especially with Chris Ballard and some of the speed bumps and some of the peaks and valleys that lie ahead, finding out who is going to make this roster?
Well, I think you're right. It is very rare to have this much change in such a short amount of time. I think it speaks highly of the Colts coaching staff that so many guys receive promotion so quickly. I mean, the Colts have lost roughly a third of their coaching staff this offseason when you factor in Tom Rathman and Jason Michael, as you said. And you still have to fill two of the most important positions on the team in the same offseason. And the expectation from ownership and the fan base is that you can't take a step back. You need to find quarterback that gives you a chance to win next season. You need to find a solution at left tackle. And you're also looking at a bunch of in-house free agents and needing to find more production at corner, edge rusher. And we heard Jim Irsay this week say the team needs to find more explosiveness on offense at wide receiver and tight end. So, yeah, that's for Chris Ballard, who's really good at his job. That's a tall order in one off season. So I think you have to look at some of the internal solutions at some of these needs that can possibly give you some flexibility this off season in terms of the draft and potentially with some trades. Because again, that's a lot of boxes to check off. Some of the in-house solutions that you can find will help you in this offseason when you have so many, needs and things you have to accomplish.
Well, what we do know is, and I'm not saying this being a company guy again, Ballard's special. Ballard's a special guy. Ballard can find talent. We heard Irsay's trust in Chris Ballard. He's not hiring slappies to run this football team. So Chris Ballard knows what time it is. Chris Ballard knows that GMs stick around for a long time when they have the right nucleus and specifically the right quarterback. You also have to have the coaches in place, and we saw that big turnover we talked about. Again, Tom Rathman retiring recently. But Matt, Marcus Brady has been handpicked from the quarterback coach to succeed Nick Sirianni as the offensive coordinator of this offense. Everything's going great so far. Well, without a quarterback up to this point, that is. But I'm going to tell you what, we're going to catch up with Marcus Brady. We're going to get his feelings on this upcoming year, how he's preparing in the offseason and this upcoming draft and this free agency period to find out what this offense will look like. It is the last word. We're at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Matt Taylor, voice of the Colts. My name is Jeffrey Gorman. Don't go anywhere because we're coming back with Marcus Brady right after this.
Obviously, this needs an update.
Let's see the rest of the place first.
When it comes to buying a home, it's important to have a strong foundation.
And this is where the staircase will be when we add the second floor.
I think this is a load-bearing wall. But hey, this house feels like it could be our home.
With a variety of home mortgage options, Forum Credit Union can provide the personal support you need and help open the door to your dream home. Get started at forumcu.com. Insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender, NLMS number 469848.
When I'm injured and need an MRI, there's no time to wait for answers. At Center for Diagnostic Imaging, I get the answers I need right away in a safe and comfortable outpatient center with easy scheduling and same-day appointments. With high-quality, accurate results, I can get back in the game faster. That's why I choose CDI, and so should you. CDI is the proud MRI provider of the Indianapolis Colts. Learn more and find a location near you at mycdi.com.
For the best seats, the best prices, and the best payment plans, there's never been a better time to join the Colts season ticket member family. From